Gather around, freaks. It's time to take a boat to Hong Kong and trap a small guy in a suitcase. Do you think you can get the gold? I want the gold. Good night, sweet prince. So gather around your internet transponder and gather around the internet Solex because it's time once again for Hey, did you see this one?
Hello, 007. You're about to embark on a high-stakes mission that could shake the foundations of pulp culture. Your objective, dive into a certain franchise with a sharp, action-packed analysis. Infiltrate the world of espionage and glitz, dissecting the cunning of your foes, the allure of your vehicles, and your iconic gadgets. Prepare to tackle sensitive topics that could spark heated debates. Everything from the ethics of MI6 to the subtext in Goldfinger. This mission captures the essence of danger and allure. Your findings may attract the attention from rival podcasters and covert organizations. Harness your charisma, stay cool under pressure, and create a podcast that leaves the listeners breathless. Good luck, 007, because this month, Hey Did You See This One invites you to the Big Book of British Bonds.
Hello and welcome to Hey, Did You See This One? The weekly review, reaction, roundtable discussion podcast where we just have to ask the question, hey, did you see this one? On this show, we take a film and completely pull it apart, leaving no stone unturned. We are your hosts of this very show. My name is the Jason with the Golden Phillips, Jason R. Phillips, and I'm joined as always by Stephen Boba Blackfly Waters. Hello and welcome to the show, everybody.
That's me.
Hello.
Bubba Blackfly. Welcome back to our best friend, our guest.
That's right. Just before we get to our guest, I'll let you know who this is in a moment. This is episode 197 of the show, season 3, episode 49. If you're playing at home, the Big Book of British Bonds is open once again. We're talking about The Man with the Golden Gun this week. Last week we talked about From Russia with Love. We did not care for it that much. However, this week it may be different.
Except you gave it a 4 out of 5, you psychopath.
I know. I fucked up my whole scale, I realized, because your guys going to be like, what the fuck?
I feel like you got infected by the internet's opinion of this movie and you didn't give us your real opinion. You shall. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
No, well, last week it was because I was impressed with it creating the mythos of what a Bond
I think you
film
explained
is.
your reasoning well.
Yeah.
Give it the right time.
This is 8 movies later, and it's pretty much the same. So it did a good job. But I like this movie a lot more. Spoilers. But we are joined this week, returning to the show. He works with me at Super Kicked Wrestling. I'm the announcer. He's the commentary. We work hand in hand for that at Super Kicked. He's also a board game creator, as I would come to find out.
That is correct.
Around that time. Please welcome back to the show, EY West himself, Chris Westmas.
Round of applause. Thank you. I will give you a round of applause for your fine podcast and having me back on. It's an honor to be a second-time guest, and I was excited when I found out I could be.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
We were stoked to have you back. I think it's been almost a year.
Has it already? Wow, that's mind blowing.
Yeah, I think it was.
No, he was here for your birthday month.
It's been 6
like
to
4
7 months.
Yeah.
What is time?
It's been a while still, yes, but yeah.
You were here for Dark Match, I believe.
I sure was.
Yes.
The Django
good
masterpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
I just remember walking up to you after our Super Kick show, like shortly after that, and being like, "You want to come on for James Bond month?" And you were like, "Yeah, I'll do whatever." And I was like, "James Bond month," and you were like, "Whatever." And then
That's
we're
not
both.
how I remember it. You were like, "Do you want to come back?" I was like, "Absolutely." And then you said James Bond. It's like, "Yes, please," because I'm a huge
Oh,
Bond
okay.
fan. Yeah, absolutely. I think you actually recommended a different movie entirely first, but
I might
things
have.
got shuffled around, and then
I probably was offering a lot of people GoldenEye because that's like people want to do GoldenEye, and then
I'm a Roger Moore fan. I grew up with Roger Moore. I didn't find out about I knew Connery was the Bond, but I didn't see his films until a little later. I'm an '80s kid, so I was growing up with Roger Moore, watching them at home on TBS or whatever the hell that station was.
yeah, that's
My grandma and granddad, and
that's perfect. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that in the in our brief history because I want to talk to you about that a little at length.
Yeah.
But I did reach out to you and ask you if you could do the brief synopsis this week. Are you ready to tell us very quickly what this movie's about? Steve, is Zardos around? Is Zardos here with us?
Zardoz speaks to you. He demands you synopsize this film. Tell him how, why, who, what occurs in this film.
Oh, I must listen to the great one, and I must give the synopsis. I'm bad with synopsi, but in a nutshell, it's this fantastically named marksman Scaramanga who's trying to get hold of this solar-powered sort of weaponry, but more so technology. And Bond is not only marked for death by him, but trying to retrieve this solar powered this solar tech back from him before he can lay waste to the world with it. So that's kind of in a nutshell what's going on here, I suppose. Few little layers to this story.
Yeah, we'll get into the details as we talk, but that's more or less the overarching tale.
Yeah, I think with a James Bond movie specifically, it's usually like James Bond has to take down a Bond villain and go on an adventure around the world. So, and this is pretty much on par with that. So, I think
the main difference in this movie is that the man with the golden gun, Francis Scaramanga, is basically the dark side of the other side of the coin to James Bond.
Yes.
So he's almost like what James Bond would become if he used his powers for personal gain rather than for queen and country,
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Cool. And it's so good. I fucking love Christopher Lee, and I love him as this character. And I think that it's such a fun movie. But yeah, we'll talk about our brief histories and then we'll talk about the movie. But I'm excited to talk about this one.
For sure.
Let's talk about our brief history.
A brief history.
I made that. That's right. The brief history is just the section of the show where we
say that every time.
Every time for all of them this episode. I'm going.
What about when I remake them? Are you still going to say that?
No, I'm going to be like, this is my idea. No, I'm proud of that one specifically because even though it looks simple, I put a lot of work into it. So Chris, you were mentioning that you are a fan of the Roger Moore movies. Do you have a specific history with this particular film? If not, do you have
the
like
poster when I was
oh, awesome. Okay.
I
well,
love
the floor is yours.
poster.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I had the poster at home. I think, and I had another poster. Which one was it? Like maybe like For Your Eyes Only or something to that effect. But no like super personal like correlation to this movie in particular, but the whole Roger Moore era was my era with Bond. So like I remember these fondly, and it's been a while since I've gone back and revisited them. Is actually that's why I was so on board with doing this. I was like, oh man, I actually haven't seen that movie specifically in a while. I've seen Moonraker a bunch of times
Yeah.
recently and Octopussy and stuff, but actually this one I hadn't in a while. So it was fun to revisit.
Moonraker is definitely the one where you're like, I want to watch a
That-
kooky Bond, and you're like,
Yeah.
let's go. Let's do the one where he goes to space.
That's the one, man. It's
Yeah.
so good. But this spoiler as well was just like, oh man, this is so good as well. It's just like,
Mhm.
and, it's a different side of Bond that I came to realize with the Connery era, where he's suave and sophisticated, as is Moore, but the tone of these is so much more like kookier, as you said, and zanier and campier. That at the time I thought that was James Bond.
Yeah.
I came to realize this was a bit of like a a sidestep from the usual spy sort of that motif that Connery set up, but it's what I knew at the time, and I love it.
Yeah, and I mean, it is maybe one of the most fun runs.
Yeah.
I will say that the last couple of Sean Connery movies do get pretty kooky as well, but
True.
it's because it's the same. There's like a holdover of the director where he made 2 with Connery and 2 with Moore, but then they continued that tone with Moore up until
Yeah.
Dalton, and then Dalton, they're like, we need to update this shit. Let's get some cocaine and diamonds in these movies.
But like they're having fun here, right? Like, and it shows. Like you can just imagine just like filming this and the people on the set and just the writers, like they're having fun, and I think that matters. Like
Yeah.
it's a fun movie, and it was a fun time, and it definitely comes off screen that way, and I like that.
Absolutely. And it continues the tone like perfectly from the last one that is like so insane where
Yeah.
there's like a literal ghost in it. You're like, wait, is he a ghost for real? To this one where it's just like it's almost cartoonish, right? It starts in
Yeah.
like a fun house, and you're like, what is
Yeah.
going on here?
Man.
I'll just run right into my brief history as well. As we discuss on most of these episodes, I watched all these movies when I was a kid, and I rewatched them all when I was a teenager, and then I rewatched a bunch of them during the pandemic, but I kind of pick and choose. I'm like, I want to watch this and this and this. I didn't really watch them in any particular order. I just kind of watched the ones I was vibing with. So it has been a while since I watched this one, because for some reason I was like, I feel like that one's kind of boring, or it's like maybe it was too kooky and I didn't like it, but I just kind of skipped over it. But then watching it this week after coming off of From Russia with Love, it was just like I was so happy to be like enjoying it for its silliness and not having to take everything deathly serious as Russia with Love is, where it's like it's almost completely void of the wackiness. There's a few wacky things that make you hope that by the end they're going to go full kooky, but they don't. And in this movie, scene after scene, it's almost like the movie's trying to one up itself with how fucking weird it is. But the first time I saw it, I was a kid, and I was probably a little bit bored because my intro to Bond was GoldenEye, and then
Oh wow.
I'm a little bit younger than you guys, and so I hadn't really seen them. But then my dad's friend was like super into James Bond. He had every single VHS. So anytime they babysit us, he'd be like, "Well, let's watch a Bond movie." And I'd be like, okay, and he'd put on Goldfinger or something, and I'd be like, "Yeah." No, he was not a good man, by the way. He's a horrible, horrible man. But yeah, so I watched them as a kid, and I don't have any particularly fond memories of this. But then when I rewatched them in high school, I did find something to love about every Bond, whether it be the style in which it was filmed, the music, the acting, whatever. But tonally, I thought that the Moore movies were a little bit too goofy, and that's because I was in the Brosnan boat, right? Where I'm like, no, I'm a Brosnan fan all the way, baby.
Yeah. Well, Brosnan was great too. Like I loved the Brosnan times. Those were awesome.
Because there are some people that like will fight you to the death with a knife on a rope bridge about which James Bond is the best Bond. Where I'm like, I think that all of them are good. Like I think every single person James Bond has something to bring to the table.
That's true. See, and piggybacking off of that, just quickly, I wasn't, and Daniel Craig to me least favorite. I immediately Casino Royale was great, but his era had diminishing returns to me. It felt like he was. I always felt like he was a little too like. I'm gonna use the word lunky, but that's the wrong word. But too like action star looking for the Bond that I would want. I've never found him to be as sophisticated or suave or as like debonair as Connery or Moore. And to me, he was more like is a bit of has those attributes, but like I don't know. I just want an unassuming looking Bond, secret agent, whereas he looks like he could kind of kick the shit out of you.
Yeah, and, when he's walking out of where they do the reverse Bond girl thing, where he's walking out of the ocean, and you're like, oh
like fucking jacked. It's like,
yeah. Compared to like Pierce Brosnan, where he's covered in hair and he just looks like a
that's man. Cool to me. I like that. That's like okay, he's intellectual though, and he knows how to charm people. And
I will say though, Sean Connery, he's got the fucking shoulders of a linebacker, and he always looks pretty like intimidating. Like he could sock you with a karate chop to the face, and he'd cut you in half. I was going to call you James Bond. Jason, how about you give us?
Okay, I'll take it. It's interesting because as a kid, Chris was about to mention earlier that he would watch it with like his grandparents. You watch it with your dad's friend, who I imagine was older. My grandmother was the person that would be like, let's put on TBS and watch like I Love Lucy and the Beverly Hillbillies. And all those old shows that they used to play. Basically, we had Nick at Night in Canada, which is on TBS. And the James Bond movies would run in marathon like all afternoon on a Saturday and a Sunday. Like you would be like, it's 007 weekend. You're going to play all the hits. And even watching this this week, I had that. I go back to that place. Nowadays when they shoot like the scene at the end where he flies the plane in and lands it on that island, like they did that. Nowadays they just use like CGI and big sound stages and all that kind of stuff, and it feels so much more real. But the brightness of the sun in these movies really brings me back to when I was a kid. Now I can't pinpoint whether or not I watched this one specifically. Like I don't remember it, but I remember like flashes of specifically Roger Moore James Bond movies, because those were all the ones that were being shown on TV in the early 90s. And I always thought that like Sean Connery was James Bond, right? And then like Timothy Dalton kind of was like the 80s James Bond. He has like Steven mentioned, is a different vibe. But Roger Moore, I thought until I watched them now as an adult, this one and the previous one with Baron Samedi, I thought that he was like a smaller guy. I just imagined him with like a bowler hat and like a briefcase, and he's like a small guy with a cane or something. But when you see this man, when he's in China next to all of these like guys in a dojo, he towers over them like so much. Yeah, and I'm like, wow, guy. Roger Moore was like 6'3" minimum, maybe 6'5".
Then Christopher Lee is taller than him. Remember when they're doing that? Yeah.
So
I think Roger Moore is tall, but I don't think that he's gigantic. I think it's just like they were in a country where like China. The average height is much smaller. But going up, Christopher Lee he's a tall man.
He's a tall man. And they're almost eye to eye, but they're still like when they're standing back to back at the end of the movie, I'm like, wow, what a couple of tall guys. And Roger Moore looks different to me now in my head than he did when I would remember him from childhood, because he's
your memory.
Like his features are so much more chiseled than I remember them to be. He's so much more debonair. He's so much more sophisticated. Like he's awesome. Like he's fucking James Bond in my head now.
Totally.
It's weird because like when I was a kid, like I never really particularly found any James Bond to be hot, but like the older I get, the more I'm like, no, they are hot. Like these men are all hot. It's like they were chosen to be Bond for a reason.
Yeah, totally.
And I had one other little thing that I thought was weird. I've had this like, you know how like you have a cringe moment from childhood that like you'll lay in bed and you'll think about over and over.
It happens every single day.
When I was a kid, and I don't know why I remember this specifically. I must have been 8 years old. I used to go to this corner store, And I walked in with one of my sleeves tucked into my other sleeve. So both of my hands were like this and my sleeves were over like this. And then I said to the storekeep, I guess I'm really inside myself right now. Now, that's whatever. That's just, it's not sexual. That's not how I mean it. It's just a weird thing I've thought about my whole life.
I don't think anybody thought it was sexual. We just thought it was like an odd thing to say.
It's just an odd thing to say, right?
Yeah.
But I think the reason why I said that is because that is the kind of weirdo thing that Bond says at the end of scenes all the time. Yeah. Like when the thing opens up and the drinks and the phone comes up, he's like, something came up. That's such a I probably saw that on a James Bond movie like 20 minutes ago and came up with my own version of that. And I just had a weird moment today where I was like, wow, is that why I said that? Because I was watching so much.
As you guys know,
subconsciously, you never know.
Yeah,
probably, right?
As you guys know, I have like a nipple sticker that I keep on my body at all times, and every time I rip it off, I say, well, that was titillating, and then I rip it off my chest and throw it for the squirrels to eat.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Thanks, Lily. Good to see you. I also want to give a shout out to Travel Guru VT. These are some supporters of ours that we've had kind of working in the background to help support the channel currently. And we're what's Nipstick? What a thing to come in here. Yeah, exactly.
Sure, yeah.
Sparkle emoji. Yeah. So that's pretty much our brief history with the whole thing. Do we want to go into some production talk? I've got some stuff. I think, Steve, you did a little bit of...
All right. Why don't you just...
All right. Quiet on set. Are we rolling? Okay, let's shoot this piece of
Sound. Speed. Action!
So yeah, I did like a little bit of research on this movie, but not a ton. I also had some sort of residual knowledge from when I was doing my big James Bond deep dive, but a lot of it has left my mind since then. But the movie is directed by Guy Hamilton, who has directed 4 James Bond movies, 2 of them with Sean Connery and 2 of them with Roger Moore. But he directed one of my favorite James Bond movies, which is Goldfinger. I don't think I'm in the minority at all there when I say that, because it is probably one of the most well-known and most quoted and most parodied. It's the one where he leaves James Bond in a room to be cut in half by a laser from the groin up.
I thought that was going to happen in this. When he showed him a literal laser.
You expect me to talk, Goldfinger? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. And then he just walks away. That's sort of one of the... And then Diamonds Are Forever, as well as Live and Let Die and The Man with the Golden Gun. And that is this movie. So it's his final one, but even Goldfinger in itself is already getting kookier from the rest of the movies that came before it. I really like On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which is the one that breaks up the Connery run. He just kind of got plopped in for a minute beforehand, and it was because Roger Moore couldn't do it that what's his name? Lazenby was chosen. Yeah. And so they eventually came back, and after Sean Connery was done, rather than go back to Lazenby, they're like, no, we wanted more to begin with, so we're going to use more now. And that's when they got him. And, Live and Let Die, it was lots of fun as well. We talked about it the last time we opened the Book of Bond, but I think I prefer this one a little bit more. The main issues that I have with Live and Let Die are issues of the era and things that just seem sort of culturally insensitive and very appropriative and weird. It's kind of like, ooh, you're sort of pulling on your collar, being like, I mean, this shit's good and I like it, but oh boy, this is probably really offensive.
Harlem shown like a blaxploitation movie, and then Louisiana also shown like a blaxploitation movie does not play well.
It does play well, though. That's what I'm saying, is that it is good. But the movie itself is definitely... The movie is definitely insensitive in what it's doing. But the idea of having James Bond be dropped inside of a blaxploitation movie is inherently a pretty genius movie when you have or idea for a movie when you have a character so well known as James Bond and you just drop him almost into a different type of genre, but it still supports the idea of a James Bond script.
Pretty good, yeah.
It's pretty good, yeah. But at the same time, let it never be done again. James Bond
Right.
should not.
I'm
do
glad
that
they did
again.
it, but like, oof.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Was this like him dropped into like a kung fu 70s classic?
Not
almost?
really. This is
No,
this
because it's
feels-
just that one part.
This feels more like a return to form in terms of it
Yeah.
being an exotic globe-trotting adventure where James Bond goes to several different locations, though this time he seems to be more not isolated, but more focused into certain parts of Southern Asia, or like Southeastern Asia, and I think like when they go to make these movies, a lot of the time they'll think of an interesting or exotic location or something that will be very colorful and unique that will look good on camera, right? And the book is based in Jamaica, but they wanted to use Jamaica for Live and Let Die because of how connected it is to just like American Black culture, but also like Black culture extending beyond that as well, right? So they're like, well, we'll use that, but they also, I think they did Jamaica and Dr. No as well, right? Wasn't that Jamaica too?
The first one is Jamaica.
Yeah. So they were like, we want to use a different location. So they just tweaked the book to the script and changed some things around. And they're like, well, we haven't been to this sort of like culturally relevant area yet, so we'll change the story to that. And I think it works, though it is kind of weird.
It worked, yeah.
It is a little bit weird when like the James Bond theme is all of a sudden like really Asian sounding. You're like, okay, guys, we get it. We know where he is. You don't need to get crazy with a mandolin. But I mean, and then in terms of like stunts and this movie was doing a lot of stuff that you wouldn't really, to look at it, you wouldn't really realize it. But like that corkscrew car maneuver was invented for this movie, and they ran it through like simulations and computer programs to figure out exactly how to balance the car and like what angle they need to hit at. And do they?
So let's put a slide whistle over it instead. After all of that.
Well, that was going to be my joke at the end. You fucker, you jumped the shark. Or you corkscrewed the car, is what we'll say. You fucking corkscrewed my joke. Anyway, it was like all this work, but like it was really interesting to see how many people were on standby for that, right? So they had crane operators, cranes, they had scuba divers, they had all these people because they were like, we've done it a million times in the computer simulation and we can do this, but if we fuck this up by even like a quarter of an inch, we're gonna have a car at the bottom of a river with a guy strapped in with like a helmet on, and he's not going to be able to get out. So they had all these people that would be able to dive into the water and cut him out of his harnesses and stuff immediately.
God.
But now it's, they don't really have to get that crazy, but like it is, telling of the James Bond franchise and like the kind of stuff that they had to do, right? Because you think about sort of like the Mad Max movies and like accidents on film sets where things were very sort of like loose, and they're like, well, we have all these permits, and like, we don't need permits for this thing. And you think about the Twilight Zone and how there were deaths on set, and even Thunderdome where there's deaths on set for that, where it's like even if they take the best precautions, a stunt can look really simple and easy, but like somebody could instantly die if they fuck it up. I don't have like much more to say about it, but like I've got some tales of the actors and stuff, but we can talk about that as we go through.
Yeah, I'll just say that the budget for this was $7 million. I think like the From Russia with Love, it made 97 million worldwide, but only did 21 million in stateside in Canada. So this is one of the lower grossed films in the James Bond franchise, which is crazy. It also wasn't very well received by critics. I don't know why. Maybe they had James Bond.
I mean, it is goofy as fuck. Like,
the
movie opens with them in a funhouse, like actually happened.
I can see why.
I mean, other notes that I have for the rendition of the book. I have read this book. This is one of the few ones that I've read. But the character of Scaramanga is far less interesting in the book. He's more like a thug. He's just sort of like a guy, and they added a level of sophistication to him that like really makes him a lot more interesting as this counterbalance to Bond, or this sort of dark representation of what Bond could be, which is super smart, right? Because he is, he's deadly, he doesn't have a license to kill, but he kills for money, and James Bond has a license to kill.
Yeah.
And I assume makes a good amount of money. Like, you can't imagine that they're stinging Bond for with his paycheck, you know, like being like, yeah,
Better be paid handsomely. Yeah.
He's probably got a nice like penthouse apartment somewhere that the government pays for.
I have a bit of a fact. According to the AFI catalog, the gun, the golden gun, the fact that it was pulled, like you could take it down into multiple pieces. Each piece was supposed to be like a pen, a lighter, etc. And each piece was used.
Yeah, one's a pen, one's a cigarette case, like a cigarette holder, and the other one's a lighter. Yeah.
They were all promotional tie-in items with the like respective companies. So you could probably at the time get a gold Bic pen that was like branded, or I think I saw one as a cufflink, one as a like a lighter, you know. So I thought that was an interesting.
It'd be funny if the companies all worked together and you could build a gun out of
the gun.
Yeah, there's that's
an element of this movie I love, that he fucking, it's like they're putting it together and nobody notices.
Yeah, he's assembling.
Well, it's because he has all these things. So if they check him at a door or whatever, he's just got a lighter and he's just got a cigarette case and he's just got a pen, right? It's like he has all things that a man of the 70s would have on him, but it just so happens that he can also put it all together and shoot you in the head with it. It's a funny fact where like Christopher Lee is like, even looking directly at it, I had a difficult time putting it together. It was a real son of a bitch. But then like the guy who designed it would like take it home and practice with it. And so he would like taunt Christopher Lee by building it really quickly without looking at it and then like pointing it at Christopher Lee, and Christopher Lee like, how the devil did you do that? It's like, I take it home and practice while I'm watching TV over here. Yeah, but it's an interesting, weird, and kind of cool. Like the gun looks goofy because I remember the first time I saw the golden gun was in the GoldenEye video game, and I was like, "What the fuck is the golden gun? And why does it look so stupid compared to every other gun?" But it's like you're looking at N64 graphics where everything looks like shit. The sniper rifle looks like a super soaker. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
But then you look at the golden gun and you're like, "Oh, it actually looked like the N64 representation because it's just a bunch of rectangles slapped together."
Yeah.
I
had a pretty massive revelation in this movie too. My whole life, because of like a throwaway Simpsons joke, I always thought James Bond was the one with the superfluous third nipple. But it's actually Scaramanga that has it, and then James Bond just does a little bait and switch maneuver with it, and that actually blew my mind. I'm glad that
I thought the joke in The Simpsons was that Krusty the Clown has one. Isn't that it?
Yeah, it is, but I thought it was because Bond had it.
Oh, I see.
I thought that's where I always associated it with, which it is from James Bond, but it's from this, like this Bond villain has a golden gun and a third nipple and is the anti-Bond. That's a really good Bond villain. He's got a weird thing and a cool weapon, and
there's another same guy. Like Christopher Lee line where he was in an interview. He was talking about how, I went to the doctor for just a regular checkup, and I mentioned that I was going to be in this movie, and I was talking to him about the third nipple, and I said, "Isn't that odd?" And then the doctor said, "No, not at all. It's actually quite common." So you're like, oh, so there's a lot of people walking around with extra nips on their body. Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, we are evolved from creatures that had multiple nipples, folks. So it makes sense that we would just have a bunch of people walking around with a couple extra.
But wouldn't the women have the superfluous third nipple more commonly because they're the milk givers?
So why do we have nipples, Jason? What do you think we used our nipples for?
Pleasure. I'm sorry.
Before we get into your microphone or to us?
All of everybody. Everybody got wet on that one. Before we get into the body of the episode, I would like to. So when I was telling Chris about our segment that we often do, we don't really have a sting for it, but I was letting him know that during our James Bond episodes, we often will come up with a Bond villain, a name of a movie with kind of a premise, and a Bond girl, that kind of stuff. This guy comes back to me with a video, a full trailer or a full Bond opening sequence And albeit made by AI, I think it's okay here because it accurately represents faces of the actual actors in the film, and time crunch. So I'm gonna play this video, then I'm gonna put the poster up for a second, and Chris can kind of walk us through. You won't be able to. Do you need to talk over the video, or do you want to talk? Can you talk about it out?
Play it out. Go ahead.
Okay,
it's like a minute and a half.
What's the name of your film? Give us a quick.
So this fantasy Bond film is called If Looks Could Kill.
All right, are you ready? Here's the intro to the movie If Looks Could Kill. So that's the intro to If Looks Could Kill. Sorry?
Yes. No. Lag there.
Sorry. If Looks Could Kill, what's the story about?
Yeah.
Desert?
No, unfortunately not. But the off the head idea was that the Baroness, who I'm casting as Julianne Moore, she's going to be some kind of like royal matriarch kind of character. She's going to be trying to there we go. So she's going to be trying to smuggle or have this biological weapon that is smuggled through luxury perfumes. It's called Operation Medusa, and it's going to petrify people and turn them to stone. And then after doing that to, I guess, the major figures, she will then ascend to queen or duchess status, basically cementing her role as the top matriarch in Britain or the UK or whatever it may be. Ultimate power. So I've cast Richard Madden as James Bond. I think he'd be a fantastic. Obviously, Robb Stark from Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm seeing Kat Dennings, who's a big-breasted individual. She's gonna be the henchman Booby Trap. So she's gonna have she's flamethrower. It will magnetize his gun to it. All sorts of things of that nature. We're gonna see again Julianne Moore as the Baroness. I'm thinking Charles Dance is M, and you may know him as Tywin Lannister, also from Game of Thrones. And Hugh Laurie Q. I think he'd be a fun, affable Q character.
Haven't seen Larry on the screen in a while. Charles Dance is good as M, though. That's pretty good. Also, maybe a good villain.
Yes, I thought that too, but he maybe be a villain. He's M, and maybe there's a twist there that he's
He's like, I'm always playing a villain. I'd like to play someone less terrible.
And I forgot Jessica Chastain as Scarlet Fever, who's obviously the redhead, the femme fatale, the daughter of the Baroness. So she'll flip sides kind of thing halfway through. That's my mock James Bond.
Interesting. Well, I like the idea of a Medusa character. That's cool.
Yeah, I like the Medusa. Perfume thing. That's very James Bond.
It's called that because it kind of turns you to stone, kind of thing, after it touches your skin. Another note: the video wasn't made by AI. The video was cobbled together by YouTube clips that I made with AI after writing some lyrics for it. So I honed it down to get that song together. But there we have it. Thank you for airing.
Yeah, no problem. We're pretty staunchly AI free here, but I thought that I'd make the exception because you actually put in so much work into coming up with all of the elements. So,
yeah, I wanted
it's definitely better. Here's the Bond girl I came up with this. I don't have a story for her. I just named her Feet Picka Putin in Makova.
Say it again. It lagged. Sorry.
Feet Picka, put it in Makova.
Amazing. It's good.
But yeah, thank you for doing that. I appreciate the effort that you put in.
Yeah, all in the fun spirit of James Bond. I love it.
I want to see that movie now. I really like the gimmick of the.
Yeah, when I was thinking, I was like, I want to fucking see this. That must be great.
What about Cherry Poppins?
Cherry Poppins is good.
Yeah,
Cherry Poppins.
Cherry Poppins is good.
I thought about that the other day, and I was like, has someone said that before, or am I original? I don't know.
I think Booby Trap is genius. Also,
I feel like James Bond has said that before, like maybe it was in Austin Powers. Oh my booby trap!
Oh, fuck.
But
probably
they were just referring to like some sort of booby thing happening, but not. It wasn't the name of a person. But booby trap is good, yeah. Ophelia Cox. Yeah. Just kidding. I got a million of them. Okay, so should we go into or do you have any other ones, James? Or I keep calling you James. Jason.
Hi, I'm James Bond.
I'm James Jason.
No, I don't know. I think I wrote down a villain, but it was, I don't know. He probably just had the arms of an airplane, and he's called Airplane Man.
Oh,
so I'm actually a Mega Man character for a different episode.
Yeah, you kill him and get his
airplane character. Yeah. Airplane Man has come to get you. Yeah.
It's Hot Coldman. No, we can probably go into the body of the episode.
Whoa!
Everybody back up, because here comes the body of the episode.
That one I'm also proud of. It didn't take me as much time, but the font goes with the legs. This is the body of the episode. This is, of course, the time in the show where we talk about the movie and the plot of the movie and what happens in the movie. This is James Bond 9. We're at the 9th James Bond. We get a great opening where we meet Nick Nack, played by J.D. Vance, as well as Christopher Lee, J.D. Vance. Sorry, I hope I don't do that a bunch. Nick Nack and Scaramanga seem to have this weird relationship where he brings in different assassins to try to take out Scaramanga, and if Nick Nack can bring in somebody successfully, he like takes over his island. That's the joke that he kind of makes. But we get this whole opening sequence where this guy goes through this fun house and he's met with a bunch of different like carnival games, like a shooting range and like a weird gangster guy and Hall of Mirrors and a bunch of like little special effects. I thought
he's a hitman who's been hired by Nick Nack, played by Hervé Villechaize, who is actually way more interesting than I realized until I started reading about him today. I'm like, oh, this guy also a little bit of a pervert, I should say. He was described as a womanizer, which is like, what? This guy's running around being like, I can see up your dress, mademoiselle.
Well, what's interesting about him is he is a little person, but he's got the proportions of a man, just smaller.
There's different types of dwarfism. But yeah, he is he was sort of like a semi-famous French painter who became an actor, and because he had such like sort of a unique voice and look, he kind of got pulled into a bunch of different projects around this time. But yeah, apparently he would go out and party all night on set and then like show up the next day and just be like super duper hungover, which is very funny.
Just wasted.
Yeah, but he would also he would like leave flowers for all of his coworkers and like write love letters and stuff and stick them under their hotel room doors. It's like they're like, he was kind of a little bit of a pervert, but at the same time he's like super sweet. And he wrote me all these really nice love letters. And like the character who played yeah, he would like type on like what's her name's typewriter and like leave her a letter in her typewriter on set so she'd go up and just like see it there at the prop.
That's sweet.
Yeah, he seems like a weird little creep, but also like a sweet little creep. But also very good in this movie. Like I was very into his character, and every time he was on the screen, I looked forward to seeing what he was gonna do, because he was
totally,
he was kind of stealing the show every time he was there. But yeah, he hired, like, all in quotation marks, he hires this mobster American hitman to kill Scaramanga, sorry. And he gives him half the money. He's like, you'll get the other half after you complete the job. He's somewhere over there. And then he has to, or he's like, wait over here. He'll be here soon. And it's almost like a test for both of them, right? Like Scaramanga is like so confident in his abilities that he hires people to kill himself with the level of confidence that he's like, I'll take care of them. I won't even have a weapon, and I'll lure them to an area where I'll get my golden gun and I'll be able to take them out before they even have a chance. So only James Bond is the one that he clearly wants, because he has like a mannequin of James Bond in his funhouse. After he takes care of this gangster, who the only thing that like led me to be like, is he a gangster, is when it shows all those like American mobsters come out with Tommy guns. He almost does like a and shit. Yeah, like he's like does like a rest in peace, brothers. You're like, okay, so this guy's American, I suppose. And then he kills the guy, bullet to the brain. That's sort of like his signature kill, is he shoots people right between the eyes, kind of thing.
So in GoldenEye, the video game, in multiplayer, the golden gun was one shot would kill, and that's sort of Scaramanga's like gimmick, like because his bullets are worth $1 million each. He's such a great hitman, and he's so sure of his shot.
Well, yeah, it's not the bullets that are worth it; that's his fee. The bullets are probably very expensive as well because they're gold. But
golden bullets.
Yeah. He charges $1 million per hit, basically, but he only uses one bullet at a time, which is why he's like, I'm going to spend a significant portion of that fee on the bullet itself. I'm going to go.
Yeah. That's why when he blows the top,
he
blows the champagne bottle towards the end, I was like, that's a waste of $1 million. But then it makes a lot of sense that he.
Yeah, the bullets aren't worth $1 million. It's just his fee. But yeah, they also take a lot of care in this movie to make sure that we understand that the bullets are like specially designed so that they can be fired, because it's like they knew that people are going to be like, you can't make a bullet out of gold. The bullet would freaking explode inside the gun and melt. They like go through this whole thing of like having this special weapons designer in like,
it's a different caliber made by a special man.
He's like a special weapons designer in a basement of some sort of like, where is it? It's like
it's in Macau.
Is it Macau? Okay, yeah. He's in Macau, and he lives with a family, but he's supposedly Portuguese, but then he has an Indian accent for some reason. You're like, who is this guy? But he like designs weapons for assassins and thugs all over the world that have like very specific needs. Like when he meets Bond, he explains like, I designed this gun to be fired for a person who's missing 2 fingers on their right hand. You're like, what? But the explanations are kind of interesting and unique and fun. But yeah, we meet Scaramanga first, which is what I really appreciated, that this cold open was like Bond free. It was like only showing the villain, which is something that doesn't always happen in these movies, but I appreciated it.
Yeah, I do too. And Bond's there in wax spirit, so it's kind of
yeah. I mean, in From Russia with Love, we think Bond
Way
is
to-
there. Yeah, we think Bond
Yeah.
is there, but then it's not actually Bond. It's a guy wearing a shitty Bond mask or whatever. But yeah,
that's
it was nice to see Roger Moore wearing caked on makeup, pretending to be really still. Where you're like, oh look, he's supposed to be a wax man.
I like how it comes down to it at the end, where the golden gun is just like in the middle of like where the ringmaster would be in a circus almost, and then there's like like the Hall of Mirrors is kind of lets out there, and they both sort of make it to there, and they have to like rush to the gun. I thought that was a really interesting little moment at the end of this sequence right before the credits.
I think it was the interesting fact to me is afterwards he's like, well, Knick-Knack, one of these days you'll have to do better if you want to get my fortune. Like he's like, the implication is that Knick-Knack will inherit all of the money that this guy has made. So they're like best friends. Like it's not like this guy is just a servant
in
to
a
him.
weird, yeah, totally.
He's like, he is his servant. He makes him dinner and he makes him breakfast and he gets all his shit. But he's also his henchman, where he's like, you know, holds people up and gets things that he needs. But at the same time, it's like, when I die, you're gonna get all my money because you're my best pal. Not even my girlfriend gets anything, just you, buddy. Which is kind of nice. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
So after that, we get a James Bond, a classic James Bond opening. It's, you know, at this point in the James Bond legacy, they've done this a bunch of times already. It's got the swimming, it's got the silhouettes, it's got explosions happening in the background. There's not too much to talk about. When we come back to it, I was going to mention that during, they say The Man with the Golden Gun is a title drop, but at the end of the movie, there's the best title drop I've ever seen in a movie. So I'm not going to do the sting till then. But when we come back to it, it's basically they're briefing James on who Scaramanga is. He is the man with the golden gun. He was a trick shot in the circus. He was
born in the circus. He was literally raised. His mom was a snake charmer.
He's James Bond's Joker and his Bane, kind of.
A little bit, yeah.
I think that's just a way to like make him seem like an outsider. You know, it's like not only is he like this maniac who can kill anybody, but he was also ostracized from society even as a boy, raised in the circus by carnies. He's got the funny thing is like Scaramanga. Have you heard of him? He's like, Scaramanga. Oh yes, the man with the golden gun. And then he like goes on to say like every fact about his whole life.
Everything about him. Yeah. It's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we also learn about another agent, 002, who happened on him, and he was last seen in Beirut.
Well, this is Moneypenny's way of giving James the ability to go over M's head, because M is like, no, Bond, he has a hit on you. We can't let you go anywhere. Because also in this scene, it's revealed that the reason they're interested in Scaramanga is because they've been sent a golden bullet with 007 engraved into the bullet. And so they're like, no, he's telling us that there's a hit on you and he's coming to get you. So we don't want to put you in harm's way. And James Bond is like, I'm always in harm's way. What are you talking about? Like, just let me go.
I thought it was really interesting that they relieve him from his duty before the movie gets going. It's like a James Bond trope that you're relieved from your duty, you know, put your gun on the desk. But they're like, we don't want you to be on mission, because if he comes out and kills you, you don't know what he looks like. So you might just get killed. You might get click-clack randomly.
That's the other thing that's like revealed, is that nobody knows what he looks like. They only know that he's got an extra nipple. They're like, a superfluous papilla. And it's like, a what? And he's like, mammary gland, a nipple. Don't you know what a nipple is, you idiot? Yeah. But they're like, no, you're not going. And then as he's leaving, he's like, Moneypenny, do you know anything about what happened to the 002? And she's like, yeah, he got his head blown off by he was with a belly dancer in Beirut, and he died, and they couldn't find the bullet, so they didn't know if it was him or not, but they're pretty sure it was Scaramanga. And then it immediately cuts to a belly dancer with a bullet in her belly button that's like plumed out, and she's like, she has made the bullet into a belly button ring.
The like crushed bullet too, like the bullet that would have
Yeah.
like hit the wall behind him turned into a
It's
belly
like a
button
slug
ring.
at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. So this whole scene, I'm like, oh, he's gonna just bang her, but no, James Bond actually doesn't do a lot of like a lot of implied sex in this. It's always like he gets cut off a lot of times in this one, which I thought was interesting.
He doesn't bang her; he just sucks on her belly button.
Well, he's trying to get the belly button out, and as he goes,
I know
down,
what he's
like,
doing, but he sticks his
Well, I'm gonna
tongue
tell the
inside
people.
her fucking belly button.
And then he swallows the bullet by accident
Mm.
because he gets fucking jumped from behind by like 4 cronies.
Yeah, I mean the weird sound effects in this movie. I'm surprised they didn't do like a comical like gulp, like a crazy.
Yeah,
gulp
that's
noise.
true.
They
But
kind of
it's-
do.
I mean, he makes the face like you can tell that he's like, "Fuck, I accidentally swallowed that really sharp and pluming bullet. Like it looks like a flower in bloom." But yeah, a bunch of guys come in. They think that he's trying to have sex with her, and they beat him up, and then he beats them up, and then he gets thrown out of the building. And she's like, "My belly button bullet, it's gone." And then he runs to a cab, and he gets in the cab, and he's like, "You want to go to the consulate, sir?" And he's like, "No, to the nearest pharmacy." And then it cuts
Yeah, he
to-
treats it like he has indigestion. He
No,
kind of does, but he treats it like
Jason,
he has...
get your head on your fucking shoulders. He's going to get X-Lax. He needs to get that fucking bullet out. He needs to shit
Oh, I
that
thought you
bullet
meant-
out as
It's to shit
quickly
the
as
bullet out.
possible.
I thought he was gonna barf it out. But the second he ate it, I was like, is he gonna pass that?
I think that he went to get some sort of laxative, but maybe he went to go get like an Epicac or something to barf it up. But that would be more preferable, I think, because imagine pooping out that sharp looking bullet. It's
won't.
not huge, but it's big enough that you're gonna do some damage. The entire scene I was watching with my partner, and we were like, he pooped that bullet out. They're like, yeah. And I'm like, and when they're looking at it through the microscope or whatever, it's clearly like a high powered microscope, and they're talking about the materials it's made of. I kept expecting Q to be like, there's also quite a lot of fecal matter attached to the bullet. What does that have? What's going on there, Bond?
Oh my god.
Didn't happen though.
Well, that is the next sequence where they take it back to Q.
Yeah, it does a
And-
hard cut from him saying to the local pharmacy, and then it hard cuts to the bullet on like an examination, like petri dish, basically. And I'm like, he pooped that bullet out. This is what Austin Powers gets. Austin Powers didn't even have to try for a lot of its material. It's
This is
just
basically an Austin
in
Powers
the Bond movies. Yeah.
It's interesting too because they explain that this bullet it's made of gold, but there's other materials in it that indicate that
Mhm.
it can only come from Macau or somewhere in Asia. So that this is so a James Bond trope of like find out a thing and find out the next place you have to go. What if James Bond got in
Oh,
a
that's
plane
cool.
crash?
It's like it's a breadcrumb, right? Like yeah. He's Carmen Sandiegoing it
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. He's following
No, I
her.
like that.
He cannot find her.
Follow
Where on
the
earth could she
lead.
be?
Yeah.
I also wanted to point out that the fight that he has with the cronies, I especially liked. I thought it felt really
Me
like
too.
the camera pushed in so close to most of it that it felt really real. Like it
Yeah.
didn't feel like a action choreographed fight from an action movie. It
No.
felt like a brawl.
Yes. I wrote that down too. It was very close quarters, and I also enjoyed how unchoreographed it felt. It was nice.
So he heads to Macau. He meets Lazar, the weapons maker.
I like this
Yeah,
part
the
too when he's
Indian-
like,
Yeah.
I'm looking for Lazar. And they're like, it's like, family. It's like an old woman with 2 little kids and they're eating noodles really quickly.
Yeah.
And they just like stop and stare at him. He's like, does Lazar live here? Have you heard of Lazar? Does Lazar mean anything to you? And then like a man like peeks around the corner like, ding ding, and then he's like, are you Lazar? And the guy comes out and he's like, yes, I am Lazar. It's just so goofy but good. Where you're like, this is like when someone's playing D&D and they're just not picking up on the hints you're giving to the point that you have to just be like, there he is. He's right there behind the curtain
Yeah.
staring at you. Like that's what it felt like. But it's good.
He's also a little bit he's like McCution Q. He's like a Q, when they go into that lair,
See
it's
that.
set up like Q's lair of weapons
Mhm.
and stuff all over the place, and even kind of takes him around the room like Q takes Bond around the room of like
Yeah,
all his like weird gadgets.
he's eager to
And
show him his artisanal craft of gun making and
mhm.
Yeah.
And as Steve mentioned a few minutes ago,
I
like
think this is one of my favorite scenes in the movie, to be honest. Like I love all the Q stuff in most of the Bond movies, and this is the closest thing we get to it. We do have a Q scene earlier where they are doing some Q stuff in the background, but it's mostly Q being like, all right, 007, you clearly shit this bullet out, and we're going to tell you all about the bullet. And you're like, okay, but are you going to get some Q gadgets? He's like, no Q gadgets right now, Bond. We just want to shame you for having to shit out a bloomed bullet. It was sharp, wasn't it, 007? Tell us all about it.
That's a
good
point.
Anus look like right now, 007?
The only Bond gadget in this really is like his retro futurism looking airplane at the end of the movie. It's just like a seaplane.
Yeah.
I guess the Solex would be kind of a Q-esque thing, but it is really just this sequence where the guy shows him that gun that Steven mentioned, where you can fire it with a thumb, and it's meant for somebody that doesn't have enough fingers on one hand.
Yeah, and because Bond shoots and he's like, it's a quarter of an inch off, and it's like, it was designed for someone with 3 fingers. You have 5. Duh, you stupid fuck. That's why you're here. And then he uses it to threaten him, and he's like aiming at his wiener, and then he fires, and it goes between his legs, and he's like, you're right, an inch off. And then he like goes up slightly, and it's like, oh, it's like a setup payoff that happens within 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Also drops in the greatest lines with "Speaker, forever hold your peace" while he's aiming at his crotch, which is amazing.
Yeah. I also found my note about my actual Bond girl name and the name of the movie. It's Footpika Renowned, and in the movie, 2 days until one day before the last.
2 days before the last.
It's full parody. 2 days until one day before the last. Full parody.
Oh, that's the title of the. Okay,
that's the title of the film. Yeah.
Well, you lean into it pretty heavily.
Like, how many days can I fit into this title? So he heads over to Hong Kong because I guess that's where he's going to meet. This is where he goes to meet. Okay, so let me set the scene. He goes to Hong Kong. He's on a boat. They make a big deal about the ship that's like half sunken. I thought that was going to be where the
it's called the Queen Elizabeth, the boat.
Yeah, I thought
it's
the
very
Queen Elizabeth.
Significant.
It's a real thing that
he
exists.
Intimidates Lazar to get agree to take him to the casino with him, where he's going to drop off these golden bullets to the buyer, and that's where Bond finds out that finds Scaramanga's mistress, and then he tails her to Hong Kong. How he gets there, just to add in that.
Oh no, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I think I left that out because I was just watching the movie. So good call on that. I thought the secret lair of the villain was going to be in there, but when he gets there, we also are introduced to Miss Goodnight.
Yes.
And she loves Bond. She's like smitten by him, but she's also a secret agent sort of person. And
she works for MI6. Yeah,
she works for MI6. Yeah,
like any Bond girl who's introduced this, like after the main sort of like femme fatale is introduced, she's either going to have a lot to do or nothing to do, or just be there to be sort of like a plot device. And unfortunately, this is one of the examples of a Bond girl that is not really anything more than a plot device. And it's unfortunate because I think appeal. That I mean, it's
especially in this era, right? Like,
it's unfortunate, but like we talked about this last week because the character in the movie last week was very similar, where it's like she's supposed to be this sort of intelligent and interesting character, but they don't do a lot with her other than just have her be sort of like baggage for Bond. And it is unfortunate because like
for being an MI6.
Sorry, go ahead. Oh,
Go ahead. Did you lose us?
Oh no, I'm here. Oh, sorry. It keeps cutting out, so I didn't hear what happened.
no, I was just saying for you to continue.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I was just I was just interjecting just by saying I agree with what you're saying. And for her to be an MI6 agent, she seems awfully like clumsy and kind of like, like lightheaded and just like, would she have gotten
Yeah, and they don't really show her flexing why it is that she's part of MI6, which, we talked about it last week as well. But in Dr. No, the very first James Bond movie, the Bond girl in that, she is an islander who lives there, and she has all this knowledge, and Bond literally needs her in order to progress what he's doing.
Yeah,
she has knowledge he doesn't. She's useful. She's interesting.
She knows the location.
Yeah, and beyond that, her story is like she's an entrepreneur. She's fucking selling seashells to idiot tourists and making bank. Yeah, she knows what's up.
Yeah.
She's an interesting character, whereas this character is just there to be like, "Aren't I pretty, Bond? Don't you want to smooch me?" And Bond's like, "Maybe later. Good night."
I'll take you to dinner later. Then we'll see. She says that the woman that they're after, Miss Anders, the woman that is with Scaramanga, she was introduced earlier in the movie. And most notably at the very beginning, she's just like wiping down Scaramanga, just toweling him down.
His third nipple, specifically.
Spending extra time on the third nip.
Yeah.
I also noticed that after she towels him down, it cuts to Knick Knack and opening a champagne bottle, and it like shoots everywhere. And I'm like, wow. They were really just trying to fit in as much sex stuff as they could without actually showing it. This has some like weird nudity in it, but we'll get to that when we do. And I'll bring it up and I'll tell you about it. And Steve's going to be like, why did you need to bring that up? But speaking of weird nudity, Bond goes into her hotel room and basically just like watches her shower for a sec.
Yeah,
that was creepy.
It's the most lax security you've ever seen in a hotel. Like, he just walks down a hallway with a bucket of champagne, and he's like, "Oh no, I've got it, sir. But you could open this door for me." And the guy's like, "Okay, what do you need? What, this door? Okay." And he's like, "All right, see you later." And he's like, "Do you want me to send up anything else?" And he's like, "No, it's a surprise." And that guy goes, "Ooh, surprise!" And then walks away. I almost expected his voice to be carrying down the hallway, being like, "Oh, I love surprises. Does anybody else need me to open any doors? I'm in such a good mood today."
I also love the James Bond like little one-liner too, is when she has a gun in the shower and she goes, "Oh, a water pistol." Like, okay, well, that's very James Bond of you to say.
But yeah, she holds him up by gunpoint. Obviously, she catches him staring at her in the shower, and she's like, "Who the hell are you? How'd you get in here?" And he kind of plays along, obviously knowing he could apprehend her at any time, which he does. Takes the gun off of her, kind of like pins her down on the bed, and just starts trying to extract information out of her. That point,
he puts her in like an arm bar, right? Is that this point of the movie? But I also wrote that he specifically doesn't smack her, and I'm like, oh, this James Bond isn't like Sean Connery. He doesn't hit women. And then like 2 minutes later, she says the wrong thing and he fucking wails on her. I'm like, oh my god, that's too much.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
James Bond notoriously slaps women all the fucking time, and it doesn't really go away until the Dalton era. I think Dalton was probably like, "It's the 80s. We can't just slap women anymore." And everyone was like, "You know what, Tim? You're right. No more hitting women." But he does do these all the time, though. Timothy Dalton, like he's always doing this, and they're like, "Oh God, don't hit me."
They do discuss
it is disgusting. It's uncomfortable, and it's one of those things that makes James Bond a reprehensible character. Like every time you see it, you're like, "Come on, Bond! Yeah. You already had her in an arm lock. Like she would have given you what was needed."
That's the thing, right?
They do discuss the third nipple, and then she gives up what Scaramanga looks like, sort of.
He's got 4 nipples actually. 8 if he's looking in a mirror, And like, also back to the reprehensible nature of James Bond. He tells this little kid he's going to give him 20,000 baht, and then hucks him into a dirty river right afterward. And you're like,
I was gonna bring that up.
Bond is not a good guy.
Yeah, and then also one of the best transitions you might ever see in a movie where she kind of reveals that Scaramanga is supposed to date at the bottom, and then he's like, "Oh, the bottom's up club," and as soon as he says bottom's up, switches right to the ass of some like Asian woman who's just
with her bottom in the air,
style, bending over,
yeah,
her ass right in the camera. That was like, wow, a different time, isn't it? It's good though.
Yeah, this is over at the strip club place where there's like I've never seen this before, where you go up to the bar and there's just a woman who's like on an elevated like table with carpeting, bringing the drinks to you, or like pouring the drinks in front of you. It was so weird.
I feel like
that probably
if I was a stripper, I'd be appreciative of like a carpeted stage. Because like a reflective glassy stage, you're gonna skin your knees a lot writhing around on that surface.
But at least it can be cleaned, whereas a carpet, I don't know now. Like
that's true.
That carpet?
That's true. The other dancers' nastiness is gonna be up there. And all the oils from the dollar bills.
Totally.
Gross.
I wrote, oh shit, he meets Knick Knack and follows. Also, Scaramanga has a bead on him, and then he shoots and misses and hits somebody.
No,
one shot, one kill.
Never misses.
Well, we find out later that it's one of the marks that they're looking for. The guy that like invents, or has the technology for the solar thing.
He has the Solex on him, and
the Solex,
Scaramanga assassinates him on the street.
Yeah,
I guess at the time we don't know that he's got it on him, but you're led to believe that he's aiming for Bond when in fact he is aiming for this guy. And then
I can't remember his name, but I called him Ginger Ale Man because that's he's ginger ale, please.
Yeah,
it's like, sir, if you're gonna be ordering ginger ale all night, that's gonna be a 20 drink minimum.
Yeah. Also, every drink is $20, just like a regular drink. But Bond is arrested. But what was this name? Lieutenant Chip or something like that?
Hip, I think it's Hip.
Yeah, he kind of intercepts Bond and takes him to that ship that they pointed out earlier. Meanwhile, they just show Scaramanga with Anders.
You have to say it correctly. It's Scaramanga. I'm just kidding.
Scaramanga. She shows back up at home, and he gets her in bed and like rubs his golden gun all over her like a fucking creep.
That was weird.
I didn't like it either.
And she's clearly just not interested. And he's like,
I think I yelled, "Oh my god, porno!" when he started like sticking it in her mouth. I was like,
yeah, I was like, come on, dude.
Yep, let that marinate for a sec. But
I mean, it's the 70s. Caligula just came out. My note says Bond be pervin and slapping. That's when he like stares at her in the shower and then slaps her 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
Ginger Ale Man gets shot. Bond thinks that he missed. That's the important part of this.
Yeah.
But so Bond is like, he can't be that good. He missed me. Because Bond, up to this point, believes that there's a hit on him under the Man with the Golden Gun, which we learn eventually is
also
not
believe that
accurate.
as the audience.
Yes, we believe that as well. And so he thinks that this unfortunate man was just shot in the head, but because Bond pulled his gun out after this happened, he gets arrested by the police, and the local police arrest him, and then they put him on a boat, and they think that, he thinks they're taking him to the mainland so that he could be processed or whatever. But then he's like, the mainland's the other way, and the guy's like, we're not going to the mainland. And this is our first introduction to our new favorite character, who becomes essentially Bond's knick-knack for the rest of the movie. He's got so many good skills, and he knows everybody. He can fight.
Hip, man. That guy's fucking awesome. Yeah.
Shoot from the hip, as they say. he's good at blending in. He can pretend to be a peanut salesman. He can drive you around anywhere you need. He can kick the shit out of anybody.
He blends in so well that I didn't even clock that he was the peanut salesman. And in my head, I was like, oh, well, at least Bond knows where the Solex went, so he can just go get it later. And then I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
They don't show. I don't think they show his face until
right. Okay, so maybe I was right.
Yeah. I don't think they show his face until the reveal as he walks out and it like pans up. Like, and you're like, ah, it's Hip. He's back. He's Hip. He's with it. Yeah.
I like that this military ship that's like half sunk has just been turned into MI6. Everybody's there. The whole crew is there. Even those like
MI6 kind of pop-up shop. So it's like everyone's kind of there.
Even those weird suits that are in James Bond movies that are just in the room. They're just extras. They might have like a line.
I was like, because as he's on the ship earlier, it's the tour guide or whatever is like, if you look out of the left side of the ship your window, you'll see the Queen Elizabeth, which was sunk in 1971 under mysterious circumstances, and it's been here ever since. And I'm like, this ship was sunk a year ago and it is completely rusted over. What's going on here? And then I'm like, this is going to be important. They're giving us this information for a specific reason, and they show it from a million different angles, and they film it from like high up, and it looks like the person filming it was in like a fucking windstorm. Like, the winds are too crazy. We can't get a steady
That's what I was saying earlier, Steve. I was trying to go into your brain, and I was like, that's where Scaramanca's lair is going to be. But then, of course, it's revealed to be where MI6 is.
I just knew it was going to be of importance, but I wasn't sure what. I was like, either it's going to be the final showdown will be there. I was like, it's going to have some importance. I just don't know what it is yet.
They also did an interesting thing where they're like driving by it, and Bond like gets away and escapes and hops onto it and goes inside, and then that's where they were going.
Like he had gotten away, like he had enough, I don't know, wherewithal to get away, but he didn't need to.
That's where they were going, though.
Yeah,
they knew that. James Bond is a predictable. He's a basic ass Bond, as we call him in the biz.
You said it. You said a thing, Stephen. I don't know if it was last year or last episode, but James Bond being this weird, like predictable, unpredictable person that they can count on has just stuck with me. I think you said it last year and then reiterated it last week, where that's how I see him now. When he goes into these like crazy situations, I'm like, he's going to get out of it because he's going to just brute force and use his like a little bit of his intelligence to get out of it. He really just wants to find a woman. Like, that's what his ultimate goal. He wants a woman and a drink, shaken not stirred.
He just hasn't found the right woman, I guess. He needs to settle down. That's James Bond's problem. Except that every time he finds the perfect woman, she horribly dies.
Just gets murdered.
Or fakes her own death, and then he has to kill her. James Bond picks the wrong one every time. But, I mean, for me, I was thinking about it because, like, I designed escape rooms for a living for a brief period in my life.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
I also worked for a board game company doing puzzles and stuff as well, Chris. So I'm sure that you have a puzzle brain as well. So it's like you have to be able to try and take into consideration every single option that somebody might use to force their way through this puzzle.
Yeah.
Up till the point of like, there's nothing I can do beyond this point. They're gonna, if they really want to, they're gonna get past it anyway. But you have to make sure that they don't accidentally find the answer without doing the work that you've designed that is meant to be the fun, right?
Of course, yeah.
And like watching James Bond, sometimes he would be the most difficult person to design an escape room for.
Yeah, because
he doesn't give a shit. He would he would literally walk through the wall and be like, "I'm out. I didn't need the key." Like, okay,
when we worked at the escape room together, I had a person who brute forced like one of the major moments in the escape room open by just like pulling it open, and 3 people in the room, the 3 of us working the room, were like, you can't do that. It's like you have to open it through doing the mission, the quest. And he was like, well, I got it open. And we were like, yeah, but like it's a game. Yeah, you have to do it properly.
That guy's James Bond, or at least he thinks he is. Yeah.
So James Bond would punch a hole in the door, unlock it, and just let himself out. Be like, I won.
You're
Where's money
paying for
coming?
the experience. Like, just try
Exactly.
again.
And that's why I never really understood it, right? Like when people would do stuff
Yeah.
like that, you're like, clearly this guy wasn't the one who set this experience up for his friends. This is one of the people that they invited
To
and he
drag
just,
along.
yeah, and he
A
maybe
lot
had
of
too
it,
much,
man. Yeah.
he had too much to drink at dinner before the event started, and
Totally.
he got a little rowdy. Or like, you know, like the person who sits there just going, like trying every code on the lock. It's like, how is that
Oh,
fun? How is that
Jesus.
more fun than solving a puzzle? You
Yeah.
know, wouldn't you rather
Yeah.
solve the puzzle? You weird
0001
Yeah.
0002. Like, okay. Yeah, we made it 004, buddy.
Yeah.
Like
good
if you
work.
have like 20 seconds left, then yeah, let's just try to get that bad boy over. Like, you know.
I used to, when I would go in the rooms, which I stopped doing after a while because I would get too frustrated watching people, but I was better as like the man in the chair kind of thing.
Yeah.
I would go up to people who were doing that and I'd be like, spoiler, it's not 0005, nor is it
Yeah.
0006. You're never going to get it that way. It's going to take you more than an hour to guess them all. And he was like, all right. And like I'd
over,
whisper it
like,
to not embarrass them, but
3,000
I would do it enough
combinations.
to like embarrass the guy.
In
to-
fact, it'll
yeah.
take you 378 years
Yeah.
to get it.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I'm
when
gonna
because like, there was
try-
one there was
I'm
one
ready.
puzzle that like if he did try it, he probably would get it if he spent the entire time doing it. So sometimes I would go up to that guy and I'd be like, you should try from the reverse. You'll probably get it faster, but you still
Oh,
won't get
yeah.
out if you do it that way. And then he'd be like, damn it. It would just make them feel dumb without embarrassing them to everybody. Just embarrass them to themselves. To be like, what are you doing? Go solve the easy painting puzzle. You just have to put a little like weird
Yeah.
visual puzzle together, you idiot.
Come on.
You'll have a sense of dopamine and you'll feel good. Anyway,
Pushed,
I'm getting a
yeah.
little bit too invested in this perspective. I do love the fact that as soon as he gets on this shipwreck, there's like a loudspeaker that's like, hello, Mr. Bond. Welcome to the Queen Elizabeth. We'll be with you in just
Yeah.
one moment.
Love it.
Like the door opens up. I also love that it's like they built a whole base in a ship that's like slightly canted.
It's
So everything is
yeah.
flat, but
Yeah, I
like
like that.
I like it, but I also started to get like actually a little bit seasick from just looking
Queasy,
at it. I was like,
yeah.
"Ugh, ugh, everyone's normal, but everything in the background is wrong. Yeah, I got a little queasy.
Yeah, it was all tilted.
But interesting, so unpractical, but just one of those things that the goofy factor is here and they're not shying around it. You know, it feels like a Batman
They're
64
just-
thing. And It's
yeah.
like,
It's like every idea they can think of. Yeah, let's try to fit that in.
mhm.
We do find out that Scaramanga actually did shoot the correct person. Which
Yes.
I went, oh, whoa. Because
this is-
I
this
was is
is
like,
the
I thought
reveal.
one shot, one kill with the golden gun. And that's what GoldenEye, the video game for the Nintendo 64, taught me all these years.
That's your point of
but
reference.
he was, yes.
I love
that the
that.
gun-
It was a
Jason
pretty,
thinks the
like-
gun has the power and not the man.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. But it actually turns out the solar energy expert that they kind of mentioned early in the movie that we haven't really touched on was the person that he shot, and he had the Solex on him, and I guess Nick Nack would have picked it up. That's the implication
Yes.
that I got from that.
Yes, that's what happened, and that's what they say in this scene. They also reveal that James Bond does not have a hit on him at all. They have realized, and they're like, yeah. But then I think M says like, but I certainly sometimes wish that they did you because you are a pain in my ass, Bond. Because Bond's not supposed to be here, right? Like,
Yeah, and they think they know that a multimillionaire known as High Fat was
Yeah.
perhaps the leading suspect that may have hired Scaramanga to do the dirty work. So he's got a
We
lead
also-
deal.
We're gonna go there in 1 second, but just before we do that, it's worth noting that the Solex is such a James Bond MacGuffin. It's literally
Yeah.
a device that turns solar power into electricity.
Yeah.
Which
yeah,
that's
it's
what
also
solar power does. But this small device like is
It's
like a
like-
battery almost,
yeah.
but it's like a converter.
it's a converter, but we don't really know that either. And you don't understand it until later, until Bond is like, so that's what that thing does. But like the whole time he's just like, we have to get it. It's important. We know that it's important, but we don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah, it converts radiation from the sun into electricity, which is pretty good for like
a little tiny thing. Yeah,
little rectangular box. Pretty amazing.
It's such a. It's
that.
like It's like From Russia with Love, where they had like a fucking decoder, like a.
Well, it's always got to be palm size, right? So people can run with it and like have it in their hands or their pockets. It's a good one.
Yeah. Well, 10 years before in that movie, it was like a typewriter size. So technology.
Yeah, totally. That's true.
But yeah, they call it the Solex agitator, and like they know what it's called
in high school.
They don't really know what it does, and the whole time me and Danny are like, what is it? I'm like, I don't know. It looks like it clearly has like computer ports on it. So like it hooks up to a computer, but it's called the solar agitator. I'm like, are they going to try and blow up the sun with that thing? Like, what does that even mean?
That'd be cool.
The Solex agitator. So we were both speculating, but we're also like, you know what? It's a James Bond movie. It's probably going to be something that you least expect. But then really it was kind of exactly what we were, it has something to do with the sun. We don't know though. But then they're like, okay, so Bond, since you're already fucking waist deep in this, you might as well keep working on it. But like they wanted to keep him away because James Bond often mucks things up for their plans. And then he has to go meet High Fat, and High Fat,
yes, he does,
lives in a fat fucking crazy estate, which I looked up. Yeah, I looked it up, and like this is supposed to be his home, like his ancestral home, but it's actually like crazy. A really super fancy hotel.
Okay,
it's the funniest. It is the funniest plan that I think. In most of these James Bond movies, his plans are very stupid, but like his plan is that he'll wear a fake nipple, and then hopefully at some point somebody will ask him to take his shirt off, or he'll be presented with an opportunity to remove his shirt to show that he has a nipple that's extra.
Before even that, I think the funniest scene I've ever seen in a James Bond movie is him cross-armed smoking a cigarette with Chip on his shoulders facing the other way, looking over over the wall of the compound.
Yeah.
And then they switch places, and then Bond's like, fuck this, I'm just gonna go in. He's clearly got the superfluous third nipple. I think that is the cue. I think that's the cue fucking device
that's
for
the
this
gadget
movie.
Of the show. Yeah.
It'd be funny if it was just a pepperoni. Like he like grabbed it and like slapped it on.
He pulls it off at the end of it and just throws it into the bushes.
Or eats it.
Yeah, it's like
but yeah, he had the fake nipple on, and his plan was we get there, we look in, I'll go in, and then I'll just take my shirt off and they'll know. But like, how did he know that there was going to be a pool that he would be like, I'm going to go skinny dipping with a naked lady? Like he didn't know any of that. He just thought there would be a prime opportunity for him to. It's so funny. So that was ridiculous, but like I love it so much.
That was the weird nudity I was going to talk about, where she's fully naked in the pool, but also, how about this for a Bond girl name? To Me.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's not
that crazy. Remember in Austin Powers when there was Fook Me and Fook You?
Like, yeah. Oh, is that a reference directly to this movie?
Probably, yeah. It's just racism is what it is.
Yeah. I also, the reveal of the third nipple, I think I missed something. I missed them like talking about it, and I'm like, oh, he does have a superfluous third nipple, but no, it's revealed that it's a sticker.
It's the reason they think that he's Scaramanga is like the guy comes down, he's like, sir, you can't be in here. Who the fuck are you? Guards, remove this man immediately. And then he like is in the middle of taking his shirt off, and he goes like,
yeah,
and he's just got like the extra nipple, and the guy's like, oh, Mr. Scaramanga, I didn't know you were going to be here today. We weren't supposed to meet. I hired you thinking we would never see each other's face.
But the wild twist here is they discuss Bond and invites him to dinner, and then they show the compound again, and Scaramanga was there the whole time, and you just knew him.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where like we think that Bond has pulled one over on them, but then the reality is that
they're a step ahead.
Yeah, they already know that it's Bond, and they're trying to lure him into a trap. But for some reason they don't kill him. I mean, the guy is like super clearly traditional, right? He's got his ceremonial burial ground on the grounds of his estate. He doesn't want Bond to be killed on the grounds, because in certain cultures it's like that sort of thing will be like inviting bad energy, or like he's like, I don't want another fucking British ghost on my grounds. Those are the worst kind. They're always like, for the Queen. I hate the British ghost. But yeah, like it makes sense to me if you're like super traditional or very superstitious, that like you wouldn't want somebody to be murdered on the grounds of your family estate if you're trying to keep it cleansed of like bad energy and bad spirits and stuff, right? But they're also super villains, so I'm like, it is crazy that he's like, no, take him to the school and kill him there. So they take him to a Muay Thai school to get the shit kicked out of him.
Well, I mean, he goes back for the dinner, and as he's walking through the garden, 2 sumo wrestlers just fucking attack him.
The funny thing is the sumo wrestle statue was there before, and it's the same. It's in the same spot, but now they're real. They're real people. Like,
it is a similar thing to Scaremonger's like Funhouse, where he's walking through and like
callback,
and even Knick Knack is there too, like in a pose.
Yeah.
But when he fights these 2 sumo wrestlers, it's like a pretty good fight. He takes one out, but one of them grabs him, and the way that he gets out of it is he fucking slaps him on the ass, and it's like, that's not going to do it. But then he twists his like his loincloth thing, and that's how he gets free.
He gives him a
wedgie kind of
atomic wedgie.
Yeah, no, he gives him a super sumo wedgie. The way you do that is you twist the diaper all the way until it squishes his balls, and the guy goes, "Whoa!" He lets you go. That's how you get out.
Goofy as hell.
Yeah.
But I laughed out loud. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah,
this is
amazing.
This is Austin Powers shit right here. And then Knick Knack is about to kill 007
with a little pitchfork too. He's like, and he's dressed as a little demon.
Playing as Namor. It's amazing. And then and you mentioned before, it's like this is what kind of when we hear the I was writing down the Golden Gun theme song has like the Asian arrangement at this point. It's kind of awesome. It's like, oh fuck, that's kind of cool.
They need to remind you that you're somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think the Moore era really does that, where it's like, we're going to set it in as many exotic locations as we can, and every time we have the Bond theme or whatever theme we're using, it's going to be played by instruments that at least feel localized to that culture or whatever, which I'm not inherently against. It just it does feel kind of a little bit icky now. It's not. I think it's smart too, but at the same time, like as evolved as we've come as a planet, as a unified planet, it feels weird to have James Bond's theme being played in other instruments rather than just having their own unique theme or whatever, right?
That's true.
Yeah,
it is interesting too that the last one was a blaxploitation film, and this one has elements of a kung fu flick, which is like the the two predominant like movie genres that dominated theaters at the time. And in both, the third dominant was try to get as much sex into a movie as possible. Without it being literally rated.
Was Halloween ripoff. So the next one I expect to see James Bond going up against some sort of Michael Myers-esque villain.
Well, when does he go up against Lockjaw?
The next one.
Oh, Jaws.
Also, his name's Jaws, not Lockjaw.
Whatever.
Lockjaw is a good name for a James Bond villain, though.
I'm gonna try to. I just want to close this and reopen this because it keeps lagging like every 2 seconds. It's really weird. I'm wondering if that'll fix it. So would I just reopen the link on my messenger? Is that the best way to? Okay, I'll be 1 second.
Cool.
Something's going on here.
Ding 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 ding.
Well, that bit of the theme reminds me of, was it the last one where the song is like ding 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 ding.
I think that's the ding ding. But yeah, the ding 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 ding.
Oh no!
Oh, there's 2 of them now. Let's just boot one of these guys.
Keep the loading screen.
It wouldn't be hated to see this without technical difficulties. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, the lag is so far gone. That's amazing.
Well, you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, I know. Every
So
3 seconds, it was cutting out for like a second. It was like, oh my god, this is driving me insane.
EY West got knocked out just now, and now he's woken up in a dojo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where he
Much
has to
like
be
James Bond.
Yeah. Being massaged by beautiful women. It's weird because it's supposed to be it's a Muay Thai school, I believe, is what it's meant to be, like a sort of like a mixed martial arts where they focus on
it's like your
kickboxing,
dojo kind of thing.
yeah, and they use like they have like weapons martial arts as well as like hand to hand, and a bunch of different mixed martial artists are there, and they put on a little bit of a show for James Bond, and one of them dies, that's how you know that they're serious. This is a school of death. Yeah. That fight is very good. The fight between the two guys.
Oh, yeah.
They look pretty young too. They look like they're maybe like late teens, early 20s. The two guys that are fighting, and they're using two sort of thick, flat swords. I'm not sure what they look almost like sabers, but I don't really know.
Scimitars or sabers. Yeah.
They look like sabers that are curved, but they're short.
Yeah.
They're short. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure of the name of the blade, but they fight, and it's like it reminded me of almost like the energy to it and the sort of physicality of what they're doing between strikes reminded me almost of like the fight in episode 1 with like Darth Maul and Obi-Wan and stuff, like how fast paced it was. I was like, wow, this is actually quite impressive, because usually when you watch movies from the 60s and 70s, like sword fighting and that type of martial arts, it's a little bit sort of like stale or slow or safe feeling, but it felt pretty dangerous. I was like, wow, these guys are doing crazy stuff. Yeah.
I love fight choreography, and I thought this fight specifically was like a fun break from the James Bond movie to like watch two professionals actually do their thing. I also started thinking like if the last one was sort of a blaxploitation, wouldn't it be hilarious if John Shaft showed up in the previous one, and now in this one Bruce Lee just shows up for a scene here, and James Bond has to fight Bruce Lee in the middle of this thing? I thought would have been pretty good.
I don't know if Bruce Lee would have been, because Bruce Lee was his own entity at this point.
True. Yeah.
He was bigger than Bond.
Yeah.
Not that I would have obviously I would have loved that, but I feel like if they were even to ask, he'd be like, no.
Clearly the whole movie has to be with Bond the whole time. I have to be the hip character, but also I'm in the whole movie.
If anything, he could have been a James Bond villain, not a sidekick, you know.
Imagine how fucking awesome that would have been.
Yeah, unfortunately, we'll never know.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have been definitely like the henchman.
Because I wouldn't have wanted to see him be a James Bond sidekick, but I feel like it wasn't above Bruce Lee to be a villain. And if he was like a good villain, that would have been cool. Like an interesting villain, you know?
You put a mask on him and he's just like the Black Mask. And then he's just like some fucking wicked, like,
the mask gets kicked
off.
Oh,
yeah. That would be an interesting idea, would be like, there's an assassin going around and Bruce Lee is like he's the bad guy, like who's at parties and stuff. And you always kind of suspect that maybe he is the Black Mask, but you don't know. And then it's revealed at the end that or like James Bond kills the Black Mask, and then he realizes that like there's more than one Black Mask, Bond. And he's
I love that. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I bet I could write a good James Bond movie if I tried hard enough.
I feel like if the three of us put our minds together.
I think where Steve, you do writing for Darth Theorist and Three-Eyed Theorist, a James 00 Theorist. What would the show be called, first of all? But also like different.
00 Theorist is pretty good.
the difference
just called Theorist, Bond Theorist.
Yeah. Theorist not stirred.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of like that, and it just kind of came out. But I think there's a lot of potential to come up with different scenarios with James Bond, and throughout history, there's a lot of other big stars that are in film. You could like in the 80s, he could fight Dolph Lundgren. You know.
Universe.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen the Kingsman movies, but like those are sort of the modern equivalents. those are like the modern equivalent to this era of Bond, where there's like so much schlock and like weird, goofy shit going on in them, but it's also still steeped in just coolness, and like where their bread and butter is like the fight choreography and the interesting, or I mean, I say interesting, but really it's just like out of this world concepts of like world domination, which is like usually very goofy, but at the same time it's like, yeah, but I'm here to see Pedro Pascal with 2 crazy whips fighting people with guns, and he's winning. You know, he's winning, and he doesn't even have a gun. He's just using whips the whole time. Like, that's cool.
That's kind of
I like that. Yeah, the Kingsman movies are like if Austin Powers was an action. That's basically what they are. But they also sort of have like a heart to them. But you know, Austin Powers, Kingsman, James Bond, they all like live in this weird niche storytelling bubble.
Yes.
And they all accomplish the same things, but they're all going in different directions tonally. Yeah. And I like all of them equally. I think all of them have their place. It's like spy thriller.
Totally. And
go ahead.
No, just sorry. I just piggyback off that thought is it jogged my mind to think about Mission Impossible, like in somewhat, it's like an offshoot vein of that kind of spy thriller type thing that I think can live like in parallel with those other films you mentioned.
Yeah,
but
Mission
also,
Impossible, the Jason Bourne movies, even the John Wick movies to a lesser degree, like they all sort
Mission Impossible is like the Americanized version of it.
Where so is Jason Bourne, like those, and John Wick, like I mentioned it already, but like John Wick feels like it lives in the same world as these as well, right? Where it's just like over the top action and like espionage is part of it, but it's like, you know, John Wick himself could be potentially a James Bond henchman or villain in a world of James Bond. Yeah.
My contrarian to that though is I feel like John Wick lives more in the revenge flick world.
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying that he's a spy and that he feels like he's in a spy movie. I'm saying he seems like a character that could exist in a James Bond movie as someone like the man with the golden gun, right? Like
okay, I see what you're saying.
Be a hitman, really, type thing.
John Wick is like a villain for James Bond. I feel like James Bond needs to take down this guy. Keeps just taking out whole nightclubs.
What do you mean John Wick's dog is dead? Who killed him? Wow, James Bond. Well, Bond better look behind his back because he's fucked.
Dun, 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 dun,
I don't know what the John Wick theme song is. I'm sure it has one, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's John Wick.
John Wick.
I've only seen 2 John Wick movies, but nobody franchise is popping up. I think the second.
I haven't seen those actually. I should check.
The first one is incredible. The second one looks like they did a Megan 2.0 where they like he could be anywhere. He's on vacation now. It's not going to be as hard hitting.
Yeah.
Megan is a James Bond villain now too. I hope. Listen, I just get back on track here. I think what's incredible about this scene is Bond gets up. He's his turn to fight. A guy comes out in blue. I think he's supposed to be a blue belt. James Bond judo chops him and takes him out with one punch.
Are there one belts in Muay Thai? I don't know how it works.
Well, the way that I read the situation was like there was like the young guys fighting. The young guys lined up on either side.
One of them
who are the guys that are the fodder for later. Then the 2 sword guys fight each other. Then Bond fights the guy in blue and kills him immediately. And then the black belt guy comes out and they have a pretty good back and forth.
Did he kill? I don't know if he killed him. He just kicked him right in the face and knocked
him.
Oh,
it was a kick.
He pulls an Indiana Jones and like he just like.
That's what I was gonna say. It reminded me of
this part is like because they're sort of doing a countdown, or it's not a countdown, but they're doing like bow, 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 and then like as they're bowing, James Bond just like kicks him in the face as he's bowing and he knocks him out. So like later when they're doing the Scaramanga and Bond pacing, like I thought that Bond was going to pull a cheesy move and turn around and which the thing is because he did that during this fight, so it's like why wouldn't he do that against Scaramanga?
gentleman's dinner, so I think they had that pact.
That's true. He agreed to it. He wasn't forced
Yeah.
into doing it. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Just thinking that might be his reasoning there, but
yeah. I am a man of my word. No one told me I couldn't kick him in the face before he finished bowing. And so
I don't know the rules here. Like this guy's putting his head down and kick him in the face.
He's vulnerable. I'm going to take advantage of the situation.
So the other like super comic booky and James Bondy thing that happens is James Bond bounces, and all of the underlings of the dojo.
By bounces, you mean he jumps through a window?
He literally just jumps and knocks himself out.
Yeah.
Which that was another point where I was like, that's Steven's thing where James Bond just like brute forces. He just is like, I'm just going to leave this scenario right now.
If James Bond sees a weak wall or a window he knows he can break, he will go through it. That's what he'll do.
Yeah.
He just fucking
Which was awesome.
Yeah. You know, when I walk into a place that I'm unfamiliar with, I usually look for the fire exits because I'm like, just in case there's an emergency, I need to know how to get out of here. James Bond looks for a weak, recently installed drywall. He looks for windows
structural integrity. Yeah.
It looks like for a bamboo cross thatch.
Yeah. He looks for things that he can smash his body through with ease.
So he fucking takes off, and then we get that. Wait, where am I?
Well, that's when Hip shows up again, and Hip is like,
"Oh yeah,"
and he has
with his two sisters, which were shown to us earlier. They were smitten with Bond, but we thought I don't know if I didn't realize this was going to happen. It made sense once it did, but when we see them originally, they're just in the back of the car and they're like, "Ho ho ho, James Bond, you're so handsome!" Kind of looking at him, and they're like joking to each other. When James Bond gets up and starts running and fighting guys, the two girls show up with Hip. And then he's like, well, what are they going to do? And they start just wrecking house. And then people. I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is cool as hell.
I mean, that. That's cool.
Yeah, I like it too. For me, I was like, obviously, like if they're there and James Bond's like, ladies, I'll take care of this. I'm like, they're going to shit kick these guys. And they did, which is like, it's fun.
Big battle there.
This is also one of those moments. Yeah, exactly. This whole sequence gives me flashbacks of Live and Let Die. Where it's like a little bit of like weird racism, where it's like everybody knows how to kung fu fight. Where you're like, okay.
Well, I mean, they're on the grounds of the academy, but yeah.
Well, also he says their father is a karate. He runs the karate school, like that. Like they're the daughters of a karate master, basically.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they would like, but it's literally a throwaway line of dialogue to explain why they're so good at fighting. Which at least they're covering their ground in the 70s. I appreciate it too. Where it's like at least they explained why they can do it. It's not because they're in this country where everyone knows how to fight. It's because these guys have been trained by their fathers since birth to shit kick large groups of men who are lesser trained than them. And then they even like drag the one guy up to Bond afterwards to like, you can finish him off, Bond. And Bond's like about to like punch him, and he's like, all right, this guy's done. His nuts have been destroyed. Yeah.
And then it's so funny
cross-eyed from that ball hit. Remember when he's like, whoa.
Oh yeah, they literally do a punch to the dick, which is like such slapstick comedy. And then they all run off to get in the car, and they leave Bond behind. I didn't wait, let him in.
Yeah, it's like they're there to
it was just so he could run to the river and get into a low speed boat chase.
I feel like in the script, there was probably like a better reasoning behind why they left him, but like when it came to filming, they're like, you guys just are trying to run and he didn't catch up and they left. But it's like they were there specifically.
That found the cutting room floor for sure.
To me, I'm like, but weren't they there to rescue him? What's going on? I don't get it. But then I see the boat. I'm like, oh, the boat chase from Live and Let Die was so popular that they're like, we have to recreate the boat chase.
Yeah.
I also did like when he pulls out the rudder and he's like,
trying
to like threatening them all and get away from me. He does.
Flashes a tourist. That was fun.
Yeah. The tourist is also a character from the previous movie. He's like I don't think he's the sheriff, but he's like a busybody cop.
Like that, right?
Yeah, he's like
a New Orleans.
I haven't seen that one in a while, but I remember.
I think he's a high up in the police force, and then there's the guy that Bond is working with, who is like an FBI agent or a CIA agent or something, and he keeps getting red tape from that guy. So he's like, "What the hell's going on with that? Why can't I just have my own jurisdiction over here?" And like people love this character so much, they're like, "We got to throw this greasy American back in here," and he has to be spitting tobacco out the whole time.
Yeah, which I thought was great. There was a really funny scene where he gets knocked into the water, and it just cuts to the stiffest man, like not like a.
It's
like
not a mannequin, Jason. I looked this up. You said it to me today, and I was like, "What?" And that was actually him. Yeah, they said just jump in head first. And he's like, "So I did," and like he didn't put his arms out because he thought that they meant literally head first, like just don't have your arms out. And when he jumped in, they were like, they thought I was dead because the water was shallow and my head got stuck in the mud and I was down there for a while, but they got me out. They thought he was going to put his arms out so that to stop himself from getting, but his head got like buried in mud when he like fell.
That was the stiffest looking mannequin I've ever seen fall into the water, and you're telling me that was that big fat guy?
It was actually him too. It wasn't even a stunt person. Yeah,
that's the best
I love that
thing that I've ever heard. Yeah, I love
that because
too.
Usually when you say to someone jump in head first, they'll jump in and they'll like put their arms out. This guy like torpedoed his head forward, thinking that that's
this guy was just JW in real life.
Yes.
Is what it sounds like.
Yeah. When you watch him in interviews, he sounds exactly the same. Like his cadence is the same, his attitude is the same. He just doesn't have that giant.
He's playing
wad of tobacco and is chewing tobacco in his mouth.
Wow. So the next sequence is the boat chase with the kid and the wooden elephant. It's like this kid is in another boat. He's trying to sell this wooden elephant to some tourists, and they're like, "Fuck off!" And then he thinks that James Bond is going to be his actual mark, and they have that back and forth that Steven talked about, where he's like,
I think that he just looks for white people, which is, I mean, that's fair game. If you see people who are white, he's like, they're mystified by the country. I can probably sell it because those wooden elephants. Now you can find them in like Pier 1 or whatever. Those like, you know, like those things are things that like white people like to put in their houses to be like, look at this fancy elephant I have. But back then they have them all over the tables, and it's like, yeah, we just carve these elephants and these white people.
Think about how long it would take to get to China from the United States in 1974. It would probably take 50 hours.
Yeah, uphill both ways.
Yeah. But I like the fact that he also, when he tries to sell it, he's like 1,000 baht, 800 baht, 700 baht, 200 baht, and he does that to the tourists, and then he does it to Bond, and Bond is like, "Look, if you can get this boat started again, I'll give you 20,000 baht," and he does, and then he's like, "Fuck your baht."
But he does it in such a like, all he does is like turn like one little valve, and it
he just puts the gas valve up.
Yeah, which is like, I'm like, if I'm Bond, I'm keeping this kid on the boat for a little while longer until like, one, I know he's safe, and two, what if the engine fucks up again? You know, these guys, we haven't taken care of.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
And then I'm also making sure that he gets his 20,000 baht. But instead, Bond grabs him by the face and throws him into the
literally palms his face.
The murkiest water you've ever seen in your life. It looks like the chocolate river from Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
It's a river of shit. I mean, it's very, very murky. When dude falls in the water, it's almost like he got swallowed by the void. You're like, where'd he go? He's gone forever.
I'll be back in 1 sec.
All right. And then Bond turns around. He's in the chase still, and then, you know, like there's a tourist boat that comes out, and for a moment there I'm like, it's Hip is back, he's causing chaos. And it's like, no, it was just coincidence. And then JW is the guy's name, the American man who's on vacation with his wife. Also funny story, when they wanted him back, and he's like, really, they want me back? And he's like, people loved you in the last one, you're gonna be back in this one, you know. He's like, well, what's the story? Why am I there? It's like, you're just on vacation. And you see Bond, and you're like, slightly
wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah,
but it's the same scenario as the first movie or the last movie.
Yeah, they really had sort of a checklist from Live and Let Die for this, that they're like, we got to hit all the marks, and like right around this time is when JW was introduced in the first one, so let's introduce him again. He's back, and this time he's on vacation with his wife. His wife is obsessed with the culture. She's also an easy mark for, you know, tourist traps, and he's kind of like being weirdly racist. Also, there's a part where she's like, I just need one of those elephants, JW. Let me get one of them elephants. And he's like, elephant? We're Democrats. But you're also like, he's a Democrat while he's spewing racist rhetoric the entire time. I don't understand this.
I thought he said they're Democrats. Isn't the elephant the Democrat?
No, the Republican is the elephant. The donkey is the Democrat.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, he's saying that they're Democrats while also calling them pointy heads or whatever, and I'm like, I don't even know.
Which is a racial slur that I've never heard before and probably will never hear again.
Maybe they made it up for this. I couldn't understand what it meant, like, because usually like racial slurs, like you can sort of understand exactly where it's coming from. I'm like,
yeah, I didn't get it.
But I guess like they're in Thailand, right? That's where, because that's what bought it.
I think at this point, yeah.
So like, I guess because they're like traditional hats are like points. Yeah. So like, I guess that makes sense. At first I was like, they're not talking about their eyes, right? Like that would be like next level. We can't put this in this movie. So I don't know. Maybe it is a racial slur. I guess you could look it up.
He also says Goonie bird.
Yeah.
The fuck is a Goonie bird?
I don't know.
Did I just get canceled for saying Goonie bird? I really like that his name was J.W. Pepper. Also, what a fucking great name.
J.W. Pepper.
Oh. It's a racial slur since it's made up for this movie. People are like, did we ever figure out what pointy heads meant? Like there's like people like still trying to figure it out to this day. I guess they just made up a racial slur for this movie. Interesting.
Well,
that's fucked up.
That's crazy.
And then I have Bond escaping them, and
he drives the boat to the end of the chase. There's the elephant scene with J.W. Pepper. That's funny.
That's
where
right. Steals from his pocket.
The little baby elephant steals from him, then he falls into the water.
Oh yeah, he also told a story that he was working with that elephant, and the elephant at one point he was just sitting on the dock, and the elephant pushed him in to the the little elephant just kept pushing him in the water. Because the elephant thought it was funny. And he's like, I swear to God, the elephant thought it was funny. He was laughing every time. But he would come up to me and just shove me in the water, and he loved it every goddamn time. Oh,
we were also on high doses of hallucinogenic mushrooms at the time.
They prescribed me ketamine and mushrooms, and the mixture was crazy. I came up with the term pointy head, and people are still trying to figure it out to this day.
50 years later. Scaramanga. He gets the Solex, kills Fat. He does that thing where he High Fat is ranting at him about like everything about the situation.
I love this scene because he's
sitting
in implements. He's sitting in High Fat's desk.
Yes,
like he's in his chair, like the chair of the man, and the guy doesn't seem concerned about it, which makes me feel like he just comes in here sometimes and sits in this chair, probably. Like he comes in, he's like, I know this is your chair, but I'm going to sit in this chair. And he probably has taken out his cigarette case and his cigarette lighter and his pen a million times before. So this guy is comfortable around it, and he's filling a briefcase full of money while Scaramanga is slowly constructing his gun. And then as soon as he finishes, he's like, well, I don't need you anymore.
Assassinates the shit out of him.
But he doesn't. Now, this is one of those things where I'm like, no one hired him to kill him, right?
So no, he just kills them, and he's like, now I'm the chairman of the board. And the guy's like, okay, bury him in the mausoleum where he wants.
He loved this mausoleum so much. Put him in it.
Yeah,
which is a good line. I also like that he didn't shoot him in the head, which means that like he knows how to kill you in one shot, pretty much anywhere. But he gave him the respect.
In the neck. I think he shot him through the neck. Was it?
Oh, maybe.
Jesus Christ. Too soon, Jason. I'm just kidding.
What are you talking about?
I don't think.
Why are you laughing?
I don't know.
Then we get the hilarious scene where it's like,
Okay, this next sequence, when it goes back to Goodnight and Bond, they're
Yeah.
like on a date ish, and then she's like, "I don't fuck on the first date.
I'll have
We're
a dinner
colleagues."
date.
Then he goes to his room, and she's just there, and she comes out in like
Yeah.
a nightie, and he's like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
we're gonna get it on." And then Anders comes to the door, and she's like, "Oh, I can't! Oh my god, Scaramanga's losing his shit." And he's like, "Oh, this is the perfect opportunity for me to get the information and the Solex out of her. Hey, you, but that's why we always have 3 pillows on her bed, because he literally
He's
they're in bed
hiding
together.
her under.
He's hiding her under the blankets. They're sitting down and they're having a conversation over her, and I'm going, there's no fucking way that they're gonna have sex with also. Is this gonna be a threesome?
A
What is
body.
gonna happen here?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like, this is a fucking threesome situation.
Bond's a gentleman. He would never have a threesome.
But Anders goes to the bathroom and he literally does the thing that I've seen women fall out of closets in Bond movies already a couple times at this point. And he takes Goodnight over and jams her in the closet. It's like, you wait there. We'll pick this up later. Like, okay, what? Anders comes out. They make.
He
Well, I won't say
bangs
make,
her.
They bang. Well, Goodnight is just in the closet trying to get some shut eye. And then 2 hours later,
But also listening and probably taking notes. And,
But she does
2
legitimately
hours
fall asleep.
later.
yeah, she
Crazy.
just like crosses her arms and tries to like get comfortable, which I thought was
Such
hilarious.
a weird scene, man. It's so funny.
When it's revealed that she did fall asleep, I'm like, she fell asleep in that position. I don't think I could.
Right?
Maybe if the jackets that are hanging in there like smelled good or something, it would like soothe my brain.
Yeah, she does the vampire good night. She's just standing up and just like sleeps. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, but
We're at a
I love
moida,
the
just like, wow.
I love the fact that Bond wakes her up and she's like, "What time is it?" And he's like, 2. She's like, "I've been
Yeah.
asleep for 2 hours." It's been 2 hours. Like, well, takes me a while to come.
Yeah,
He doesn't say that.
that's
but
crazy.
the implication.
He says all in the line of duty or something weird
Yeah.
like that.
On the
Or he
line
says
of
like
duty.
it's my duty to please that beauty.
Yeah. Throwback to Shaft 2000.
Well, we all know that Shaft could exist in the James Bond universe as well.
I think
We all wanted to see a James
Oh,
Bond
yeah.
Shaft team up at some point.
that means that Pierce Brosnan and Samuel L. Jackson would have a team up flick.
Yeah, I'd watch
I
it.
could see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I also had Anders and Goodnight mixed up at this point. I was kind of like
What?
unclear who was who.
They're
I had
different
them
people.
mixed up. I know. I get that. When he was with Goodnight in this part, I thought he was seducing Anders, and when Anders came in, I was like, wait a tick.
Oh, I guess they kind of have a similar appearance, but
Yeah, they have different
Well,
accents and different
They
hair
have
color.
different. Yeah,
and
they
one
have a
of them
different
has
hair
Yeah.
a
color.
forehead,
Yeah.
and
I
there's
think
a lot
one's
of things.
taller.
that's the last time we see Anders alive because
She
the-
gets shot in the head.
she's been shot.
His signature move. Yeah, she got a bullet
Yeah.
to the brain.
I think
Um,
it's in the chest. I have it in the chest. From what
Was
I
it in the
remembered.
head?
It was in the chest. It was right
It
here.
was in the chest, yeah.
No, he
She's
shot her through
sitting
the
there.
heart because he broke
Yeah.
his heart. Oh, it makes so much sense.
I actually thought this was a really good reveal of her death because it was like, I don't know, she's sitting upright, she's in the arena, he comes and sits beside her, and you don't really notice at first that she's not moving, but then there's no way, and then it shows the bullet through the chest. You're like, holy shit, that's fucking crazy.
Yep.
And I
And
don't know,
then-
I like that.
I
hit
liked
hard.
it too because it's funny because Bond is trying to be like, "Oh, are you okay? Like you're not saying much.
Yeah.
What's it? Do you have the Solex in your wallet there? Can I look through your purse?" And then he sees the-
Solex that you never get. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
shit,
Oh,
you're
my
dead as hell. Checks her
God, you're dead.
pulse.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then Scaramanga comes and sits down next to him, and I think that's the first time these two actually
That's their first
interact
meeting.
with each other.
Which is cool.
he,
They
like-
have their little sorry.
I was just gonna say he like sniped her, and also while Scaramouche's talking about it, he's like, with this amount of people in the room, people moving around, and from the distance away that I was, it was a really tough shot. And Bond is just like, you're just out here killing people. What are you talking about, buddy?
It's also crazy that he like shot him with a pistol that far. Like he's like, it was a hard shot, but I did it with my cigarette lighter pen gun. I got
no silencer.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, because he would have used the punches from the Muay Thai fight, the boxing match in the ring.
To mask the sound. Yeah,
to mask the sound. And I think it happens when he sits down with her, because I feel like he like looked around at one point to be like, that was a weird sound, and then he notices that she has a bullet in her chest. Yeah. I'd have to rewatch the scene, but I remember thinking that something was weird about that.
I do also like that, like, this is my favorite type of James Bond villain, where the villain doesn't necessarily think that he's smarter than James Bond or better than James Bond. He thinks of himself at the very least and close to, most an equal to James Bond.
They're 100%.
Yeah.
Where he's like I'm.
Yeah, usually usually they're like got the superiority complex and stuff, and he doesn't have that, which is kind of refreshing. Yeah.
It's like it's when the villain respects James Bond is when I think it's the most fun and the most interesting.
Yeah.
Because it makes you kind of like the villain a little bit more, because like the villain also is sort of like us, where he's like, James Bond is pretty cool. I like James Bond.
James Bond. Not so pumped, better than.
But I also like that he wants to. He's like, the ultimate test for me is if I can kill James Bond. Like, that's pretty cool. Like that his whole. He has this big grand plan of how to make unlimited amounts of money. Obviously, that's his whole thing. But at the same time, he's sort of mentally sidetracked by the idea that James Bond is something that, like, that's his
ultimate hit.
Yeah,
that's
who I need to kill.
To the point that at this moment, he tells him his whole life story.
Yeah.
While the Solex has fallen to the ground, and he like pulls it over with his foot,
and then he's like, peanuts, please.
Buys the peanuts, like hides it and puts it back on the tray. Sorry, Chris, were you going to say something? I didn't mean to cut you.
No.
Okay. Well, he does that. He gets the peanuts, and he's like, peanut, which I thought was funny, and that's when I was like, why did he just
funny if Chris really was like, no, I'm allergic.
I'm allergic
to peanuts.
Allergic to peanuts.
It's my one weakness.
Yeah, my one weakness is peanuts.
I think that's a good subvert of the villain explaining his master plan. If the villain respects James Bond, then he doesn't need to give his master plan. He wants to tell him his whole backstory about being born in the circus.
He wants to lure him to his funhouse, right? Like we saw this at the beginning of the movie.
That's where the fun is.
Yeah, he has this weird murder funhouse that is designed by his little best friend / confidant / inheritor. He's gonna this guy's gonna inherit everything when I'm gone. I love him so much, and he's designed this. I wrote in my notes earlier, like, Knick-Knack is literally trying to kill Scaramanga. Yeah, and Scaramanga is
with
like
Scaramanga's permission.
Exactly. He's like, you have to try and kill me, and if you can, you will earn my respect and my money.
So weird.
Like, okay, that's pretty cool. But like Knick-Knack clearly also loves him too. Like, he's like, I love Scaramanga. He's given me everything in the entire world. He's my best friend and my dad. And then but also, like, during this whole conversation, he's got a little tiny gun to the back of James Bond's head the whole time while he's eating fucking, I don't know, like dates from a bag or something. I don't know what he's eating, but he's eating.
Oh yeah, he offers the peanuts to Knick-Knack. I just remembered. He doesn't offer the peanuts.
Well, that's how he notices that Knick-Knack's gone. He goes, would you like one of mine? And then he turns around and Knick-Knack's gone. And then it cuts to Knick-Knack being like walking out being like yeah. But
that's true.
We have the moment where the solar plexus or whatever the fuck it's called gets put inside the peanut bin tray that is taken by Hip out, and then Hip gives it to Goodnight, and he says to Goodnight, whatever you do, don't fucking lose this. You need to keep this, and I have to go back in and help Bond. And she's like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do? And he's like, just go back to the car and don't lose that thing. She does, but then she also sees Scaramanga and Knick Knack leave, so she's like, I gotta go check the license plate and make sure and then she goes up to the boot and she opens it and they knock her out and throw her inside.
Useful. Yeah.
No, they don't
she
know. She
makes
falls
herself,
in.
Yeah, she makes herself a tracking device. That's what
she's trying
Yeah.
to put the tracking device on the car and falls into the car by accident.
That's
to the
true,
boot,
but she's
into
got the homing
trunk.
device. That's what matters.
Yeah. And they go,
Oh, that's
Hip and Bond go back to their car, and they don't have the keys because Goodnight has the keys to that car.
But they have like a walkie-talkie to talk to her, and she's like, "I'm in the boot. I'm in the boot." And they're like, "He's like, you're in the what?" And he's like, "The boot of Scaramanga's car. It's brown, and it's a Rolls Royce, and it's a 161845." At least she memorized everything about it, and they see it, and they're like, "There it is." And then they're like, "Where's the keys?" And she's like, I maybe have the keys. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. You were right. You were right. They did push her into the trunk. I just looked at it. How about the next
She didn't
sequence?
get in on purpose. She got fucking.
No, I thought that she like
the...
fell in as they drove off.
Then we get the wicked car chase scene.
Then but how it starts is crazy. It just cuts to JW Pepper trying out cars in China or Thailand, I guess at this point, as you said. And he's trying it out, and Bond just runs into the dealership, jumps into the car. They drive through the front window of the dealership, which is like, there's no other way we could have done this, hey?
Yeah.
No. And then we get a high speed.
I told you, James Bond, when he gets into a room, he's like, how do I get out of this as fast as possible through the window? Let's just drive through the window.
Yeah. What are the implications of does the bill go to MI6?
Yes, every time. The British government, they're like, all right, here's $50 million. If James Bond fucked up stuff again, didn't he?
Well, what did you think of the corkscrew car technique?
Well, I talked about this earlier and how it was an extremely complex stunt that they like literally used like computer trajectories to like try and figure out the exact weight of the car and like what angles they need, everything. And they had all these safety things set up. I think it's like a fine stunt, but it's one of those stunts that would be impressive if you were in a stadium watching it and not necessarily something on screen. But it at the time was one of the most advanced car stunts they'd ever performed on camera. So it like accolade for that.
Technically, it's like an achievement, but it looks cool. But it's like, okay, well, for as crazy,
it's also undermined by the weird slide whistle sound effect.
Which I read the director regretted putting that slide whistle over it because it might have seemed like a good idea at the time, but in retrospect, as far as the movie coming to theaters in 1974, being like, why would you like it? Almost kind of, why would you make it like a comedy? It's an incredible technical feat to be able to do a trick like that. Like, imagine if
put that in slow motion.
Remember when Tony
Hawk
was
in slow motion, but like they could have put like, and they could have like, I could think of 1,000 other sound effects that would have been more appropriate, but they also could have just had the score going over top of it, like.
Do you guys remember when Tony Hawk did the loop de loop move? They built a big loop, and nobody could do it, and Tony Hawk did the loop. He skateboarded a fucking loop, which is like almost like physics wise impossible. He managed to get the speed to do it.
Trombone like this.
Yeah.
Wait, did they actually do that?
They did not.
Okay, I was gonna say you guys.
But I think it was in a Jackass video. So
right. Instead, they put the James Bond theme song in, which it was. But I mean, you can as the car lands, fucking slide whistle, right? Like
that's.
I mean.
You just music away. You have it build up, and then it right before it's off, it climaxes, and just the sound of the car, slower motion, and bam, it hits when it lands.
I think if anything, I think if anything, James Bond movies have learned the lesson, which is like, if you're going to build up to something that crazy, you've got to have the music to match and you have to have the tone to match. This movie was tonally like all over the place, right? Like the music changing to sort of like different cultural instruments. Interesting, but weird that it's always the James Bond theme. This moment where, you know, we've got this hillbilly style character who's now come back for a second movie on vacation just to be there to be like, oh, hey, you're that James Bond fella, aren't you? Like it's so weird. And I don't dislike it, but I, you know, like it's odd. It's like James Bond
pointing out,
was a thing, and now it's a different thing. And then we get back to it with Dalton. We run off.
I have a question for you, Steve. Do you think that this would lie in the cinematography? Because the cinematographer changed mid-production of this movie. The original cinematographer, this is according to Wikipedia and AFI, Ted Moore was the cinematographer. He got sick, and it changed to Oswald Morris as his replacement. Would that affect the tone of the movie this greatly, or do you think the way the movie was?
If the cinematography, I don't think would have, because the cinematography is not comedic, and like that shot's not comedic. This is all editing and music. True. Like this is there's nothing like. I can't think of a single shot in this movie that would be comedic on its own without the advent or introduction of music that makes it into something comedic, right? There's nothing inherently funny about this movie, but when you add sound effects and goofy music, like that's what makes it comedic, right?
Yeah.
Like not a single, like what is a shot? Maybe like him pointing the gun at the guy's dick. That could be funny, but like if you have music that brings the tone into something dreadful and dramatic, then that's going to change the tone of it, right? It's nothing about this in terms of camera work, I think, is inherently comedic.
Yeah, the music.
So I'm going to say no, but
okay.
I mean,
I figured you would. I wanted to. No, I know. I get that, and I do agree with you. I want
even that shot, like the shot of the corkscrew car, is like it's done from a faraway angle, and it's shot from several different angles. They clearly had a bunch of different. They didn't want to film it like 10 times probably, so they're like, we'll just set up 5 cameras and shoot it all at the same time. But like, there's nothing funny or goofy. It's not like they're going inside the car and Bond and the guy's like, "Wah!" and then he's like spitting at the same time. Like that shit doesn't happen. There's nothing goofy about it. It's the only thing that's goofy about that whole. Yeah, the only thing that's goofy about that whole shot is the slide whistle. If they just used a James Bond, one of these, like while he lands, then it's cool and not goofy.
That would have been cool. Yeah, I think what happens next is pretty awesome though. Like he
they end the chase. Scaramanga and Knick-Knack take the car into like a barn. The police show up as Bond is about to like shoot the lock off the door, and him and Pepper are going to go in, or JW, but the police show up and they arrest JD. Pepper's like, I got this, guys. And they arrest him. JW
changes every time. Yeah.
But then, Chris, do you want to tell us what happens? Because you seemed excited about this.
No, I was just remembering what happened next. It was just fun that, he hides, like you said, in a shed or a barn. He drives into there, and then one of the most amazing transformations in modern technology takes place as his car gets outfitted with wings and flies off as a car plane as he escapes. And I thought that was pretty amazing. Ingenious.
Which is wild too, because they don't really they treat it like the technology is built into the car to do this. Like a little thing goes zzz, and zzz, there's a lot of that going on. But really, when you look at it, they just like welded airplane wings onto a car. Oh, no. And then I think it's a Mini that actually takes off.
It's an absolutely yes.
You don't need to say probably.
It is a Mini. It is 100% a Mini. There's not a person in there being like, no, it's like it's one of those little planes you get for fun, and be like, the ultimate test of the AC remote plane pilot is to keep a steady course or whatever. Like,
it's fucking awesome.
I couldn't believe it.
I loved it.
Most difficult.
It's a good villain escape.
It's rare that I'm watching a movie from the 70s and I'm like, that's it, like pretty innovative. Like that's a pretty crazy spy thing.
To me, it felt like something from the late 50s or early 60s, which is my favorite movie of all time, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yes.
Like, he's pulling a Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Totally.
Chitty Bang Bang.
And
Chitty Chitty
worth
Bang
pointing
Bang.
out
Chitty Bang
that-
Bang. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah. She's Goodnight is still in the trunk, and she goes to get out and realizes she's like super.
Yeah, she's
high
on the
above
radio
land.
being like, she's like, I think I found a way out, James. And she's like, and like she opens it and she's like, Chitty Bang Bang, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. She's like, oh shit, fuck, I think I'm on Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Which is
That
one of
was
my favorite parts of
amazing.
the movie because I was like, no way that she's gonna finally figure out a way to get out of this trunk. And then
What?
yep,
Yeah.
that's what's happening. And she's looking, they're
Yeah.
20,000 feet in the air somehow.
Yeah.
But
But
they try to
then-
find
because like for a moment there's like a look on her face where you're like, is she thinking about jumping? Because she looks like she thinks like she's like, can I make it? And you hear Christopher Lee and Nick Nack being like, Chitty Bang Bang, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And no, obviously she doesn't. He closes it again and she goes back to
I
sleep.
did also have that same thought where I was like, is she just gonna bail and just hope for the best?
I mean, they're going over rivers and stuff, but she does one of she does like a slow close of the trunk. And I'm like, yeah, and she probably goes back to sleep. We all know that she can fall asleep in
Yes.
confined space very easily.
Especially, absolutely.
And then we don't see her again for a little while, and the explanation for that is hilarious, but we'll get to that. The boys in the ship, Bond goes back to the ship. They need to fight Goodnight, or they need to find Goodnight. Her signal is lost, but they can kind of triangulate where she went, and she's gone up into this series of islands. And they give Bond this like I said before, it doesn't look like any kind of plane I've ever seen. It looks familiar. It looks like a seaplane, but it looks like a spaceship. And then from the inside, it looks like a limo. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed that, but it's got like really nice interior.
Decked out,
I want to know about this airplane. I didn't look into it at all, but it seems like this airplane might have it was either a thing that existed at the time for like super luxury seaplane, or they just made a retro futurism style airplane for the sequence. And then they literally fly it into an island, and land it.
Yeah.
Which was
pretty cool.
It's so fucking cool to me that these old movies did this stuff. And
these islands are actually called the James Bond Islands now because they were uninhabited, and it's not that they weren't owned or anything, they just weren't named. They were like a little string of rock structures that these guys, the Broccoli's and like the people, the producers of the movie, they were like, well, we should just film here because look how interesting this stuff is. And it is like it's one of those sort of things that if you're not familiar with geography or like any kind of like interesting rock structure on Earth, you would see that for the first time and be like, what? How are they standing up? How are these rocks standing up? They're so thin at the bottom and so thick at the top. And like, it is very cool. And I can imagine at the time that being something that is like extremely exotic, right? And
absolutely.
So they filmed here, and they're not inhabited islands, but so they had to like longboat over every day, and they had to like fly things over to film. But that little string of islands, like similar to something in like a modern example, would be the island in the Rise of Skywalker, or not Rise of Skywalker, but the Last Jedi or whatever, where it's like people go to just to see the stuff from Star Wars. It's like those islands already had tourism, but then a major motion picture decides to show it to you, and it's like there's people who make their James Bond pilgrimage every year, and they go around. Yeah, they go around to all these different like iconic locations that are used in James Bond movies.
The island from Lost, Isla Nebula from Jurassic Park, the Shire,
and like the documentary that I watched today. it's probably from about 30 years ago, like an early 90s documentary, where like that string of islands has become such a major point of tourist interest that it like spawned and grew an entire community that didn't really exist there. So there's now like a city that has grown up around just the fact that this is in the movie. Which is like, you know, when people are like, AI, we can just use AI to make movies. Like these types of things happen, and it changes the world for somebody. Imagine you're just like a small village person, and then all of a sudden a movie is filmed, and like that becomes a hub, and like now you have money to raise a school, and now you have like you know, it changes an entire economy.
There's a very significant version of that too. The movie Popeye. We didn't do Popeye on the show. We've talked about it.
I mean, I did Popeyes over the weekend. It was delicious. Just kidding.
Me too. I'm addicted. There's an island. It's in Malta. It's an island, a series of islands in Malta that has like the Popeye reality tour. And that movie came out in 1985, and people still go there to see where Robin Williams and the rest of the crew were making this film. So I would love to go to all the places that we mentioned. I want to go to James Bond Islands. I want to go to Popeye Rock in Malta. I want to go to
I should also say it was called the James Bond Islands in the documentary that I watched, which is from a long time ago. It might not be called that anymore because people are probably like, we should probably not call it that. Like I would assume let's call it something that it was actually called before, you know.
I have notes about that as well. The island used for Scaramanga's beach hideout, Koh Tapu in Phang Nga Bay, Thailand, has since become known colloquially as James Bond Island. So, you're right. The place is called Koh Tapu.
Koh Tapu, okay.
Yeah, and it is Thailand.
But you know how they got there, don't you?
Shitty fucking Bang Bang theme into our podcast. Well played, sir. I'm surprised it took that long, quite frankly.
I mean, I was doing that the whole time while I was still talking, trying
to shitty bang bang.
distract you guys while I was converting it and all sorts of things. Yeah.
So Bond lands the plane with no problems. He lands in the water and pulls it up to the beach. He's greeted by Nick Nack. Scaramanga confronts him, and he's going to show him around. Miss Goodnight is there somewhere. When he's like, "Where's Goodnight?" She's like, "She's around. She loves this place. There's nowhere for her to go, but she's around here somewhere." And then he shows Bond his secret energy plant in his actual James Bond style lair. And it's a prototype for a franchise that he wants to sell off to the nations of the world. I really like the fact that he's like, you know, the Middle East has a lot of oil and gas. They might just pay you to keep this completely off of the map.
But then he squeezed oil into his hands, and he's like, "But this place has a lot of oil and ass, if you know what I mean, Mr. Bond."
That's where Miss Goodnight has gone, getting her ass oiled. I'm sorry that I said that.
I think that my favorite part about this entire interaction is how excited he seems to show James Bond everything.
Yes.
He's so happy about James Bond being there. He's like, "I can't believe you followed me. I'm so excited that you're here. Come, let me show you my crazy energy plan. And
let me show you my toys."
Yeah. And it seems like the island only has like 5 people on it. One of them being James Bond and Midnight. And Goodnight. And I love that. It's usually like James Bond is like met with insurmountable odds where he has to like make his way through a facility full of armed guards and shit. But this is just like,
this is a different take on that.
He's got Nick Nack, he's got himself, and he's got that one guy who's constantly reading a newspaper or whatever. It's just like
and oogling Miss Goodnight.
Yeah,
the Ron Simmons guy.
Awkward scene.
He's just there to make sure the dials aren't going over or under frozen levels or whatever. Like, just keep an eye on these.
Yeah, so we learned the Solex transmits heat to the thermal generators, and he built a solar panel that comes up out of one of the island outcroppings that directs the sun back to the Solex. And also, if you purchase now, you can get this fucking death laser which also amazing.
There's
It kind of
no
looked like
extra
the Honey I Blew Up the Kid laser a little bit. Not the Honey I Shrunk the Kid laser, because they streamline it in the sequel. But I was like, oh, is this the movie? Like I said before, is this the movie where it's like the laser's going to go up towards his crotch and then he's going to leave? The also Simpsons joke. But I have something to tell you guys about right now. Do you want to know what it is?
I don't know.
Yes.
Well, let me just.
That's when they said the name of the movie in the movie.
So this movie has a unique thing where they do actually say the name of the movie in the movie a few times. However, Scaramanga literally says, "Now I am undeniably the man with the golden gun," at 1 hour, 41 minutes, and 56 seconds, which made my head fucking explode. He literally looks into the fucking camera and says that basically. I loved it. I thought.
I mean, it's a gun powered by the sun, so I like it too, because like anytime you think of the sun, like people call it golden rays. It's a golden it's a thing that gives us life. Yeah, it is cool. Yeah. I didn't expect it. I didn't see it coming, but I did like it. I also like that it didn't have like a laser coming out of it. It's like an invisible, just like, and it blows up.
Yeah,
his plane.
he destroys Bond's plane with it.
Yeah.
So
I do also like Bond's face, because you can tell Bond's like, no, I need that to get out of here. Please don't.
He just destroys
moments before the Scaramanga's like on the radio with his guards. It's like, no, he won't be leaving. Don't worry about it. We don't have to figure out him getting out of here.
But then moments after that, ding 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 ding. Lunch. Let's see what Knick-Knack has prepared for us today.
That was cool.
Yeah, I do like that. Like they didn't do the old like, we're not so different, you and I, James. But,
yeah,
like,
I know that.
It is that conversation, but they didn't do the cliche lines within it. You know, he does say like,
we're exactly the same now, aren't we, Mr. Bond?
He says it without saying it, but he says it in a different way, which I liked, and like it made it more interesting, and it also makes the character of Scaramanga like cool. Like I kind of like. I think he's one of the coolest James Bond villains. I think
he's a good villain. I really like him here too, and like again, the balls to propose the duel. He could have killed him a few times before that.
Could kill him with the food or the wine.
Could have lasered him out of the sky before he hit the beach or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, he could have. There's been a lot of times, but
whenever James Bond is drinking champagne or wine in any of these movies, I'm like, why would you just be drinking things?
Well, he's probably drinking like smell poison and stuff. You can,
that's
maybe.
That's a good
and also, he is always put into these positions where the villain wants to talk to him. The villain is not there to kill. Like it's like if he wanted to kill me, because remember when he first shows up, Knick-Knack shows up with like a tray of stuff, and he's like, yes, he's here. He wants you to come, and then like he shoots the champagne bottle cork off, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He wants him to know like I'm watching you, but at the same time, like I'm not going to kill you. I could kill you right now if I wanted to. That's what that is meant to signify, right? So James Bond doesn't have a reason to be scared until there's an actual threat being made, and this is why I like the whole him showing him around. Like, you know, Mr. Bond, you clearly know more about this than I do. Science was never my strong suit. I was better with golden guns. And then, you know, like that whole thing is it leads up to this dinner conversation, which is where the proposal comes in, right? Yeah. The proposal being, I want to have an old-timey cowboy shootout with you on the beach.
Yeah.
And they do.
But right after he lays out like, I'm in it for the thrill of the fight, and you're for it for Queen and Country. I'm the bad guy here, and you're the good guy here, Mr. Bond. So why don't we have a duel to figure it out?
Easily be me. Like if you wanted to be me, you could be me. Like you don't have to do what you're doing. You're getting fed scraps from the British government, but like I could be you just as easily as you could be me. And like that's a fun interaction. It's why the character is way more interesting than whoever the fuck the villain was in the last movie. I don't even remember. It was Blofeld behind the scenes.
It was Blofeld, big strong man, and the woman with the fucking pointy.
That's another reason why that movie sucked. Is there's no like he didn't have like a real villain to contend with.
It was
Yeah,
strong.
you
It was
need that.
blonde Bond. Strong blonde Bond.
Mr. Blonde, James Blonde.
James Blonde.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they decide to have the beach sort of like pistols at dawn standoff, which is interesting and fun.
The golden gun
And then
versus the
Scaramanga
whip
disappears.
Yeah, he vanishes.
Yeah.
But this is also the moment where I'm like, well, James Bond is dishonorable, but you guys convinced me otherwise that James Bond agreed to it and the rules, and so James
Right.
Bond won't go against his word because he believes that Scaramanga also won because of everything established up to this point where, you know, he shoots the cork off of the wine bottle. He could have killed him at any point during their conversations up to that point.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that James Bond is not a piece of shit. If he agrees to a rule, he'll follow the rule. Yeah.
Well, he does also goad him into like a cat and mouse situation. He never wanted the duel. He wanted him to go into the fun house.
Yeah, that happens now, which is kind of cool.
But that's
Start
also when
stalking each
Bond
other.
stops playing by the rules as well, right? Like the rules were there. He broke the rules. They didn't have their duel, so now he has to go. And then that's when Nick Nack is like, "Good luck," and then he like he goes to the computer and he's like,
And then Bond says something along the lines of, "I've never killed a little person before, but there's a first time for everything."
"Yeah."
I
I don't. One thing that I don't like is that so in the opening sequence, there's a weird inference that that's the first time that Scaramanga has gone through that funhouse. Like he didn't know what was to expect either, right? Like
Right.
Nick Nack
Yeah, I can
designed
see
it
that.
and built it. So I was expecting the second time through that it would be completely different. Like Nick Nack would have like designed it in a whole different funhouse. And I was kind of excited. And then when I saw that it was the same stuff, I was like, I get it. The movie had a $7 million budget. They probably didn't have the budget to, they spent all the money on doing all those weird car calculations on how to corkscrew a car through the air. They couldn't build a second funhouse, but I like the idea of that gangster going in and seeing the gangsters, right? And like he's like, oh my god, Al, it's me, Corky or whatever. But like imagine Nick Nack designed a whole funhouse for Bond, right? Like he only uses like Bond stuff to fuck with
References
Bond.
to other Bond
cooler,
movies would have been
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that's what I thought was going to
Get
happen.
down
And
that
then,
all the exact same stuff, but
yeah,
I guess it ties into how he kills him a little bit with I mean, I guess the mannequin could have been there in a different form.
oh yeah, it could have been,
somewhere
and like with the fingers still
setting,
blown
but-
off and everything. Like I feel like Nick Nack is creative enough that he would be like, I'm going to take the
Yeah.
same thing that you shot and I'm going to put it in a
Horrific.
weird, crazy place that'll fuck with both of you. Like he's
yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
because like at the beginning when it's like Scaramanga infers that he wants Nick Nack to put him in a situation that is devastating and hard and might kill him, Nick Nack would be able to do that, right? Because he knows him so well. So I'm not going to say it's bad. I'm just going to say it was slightly underwhelming.
It's a
where I was like,
little bit of a letdown that it's
Yeah.
the same maze. Yeah.
because what is
I
when
do
Bond
like-
sees all those gangsters, like the gangster statues come out, like what is Bond going to think? Being like, who the
Yeah.
fuck are these guys? Like, like he's not going to care. But like, imagine it was all the
Yeah.
other 00 agents or something that came out that have been killed
That
in
would
the
be
line
cool.
of duty or something. You know, like
With his mind.
yeah, because I that's what I thought the whole funhouse was meant to do is like like a crazy spiral room that you have to go.
It's
through, and
almost
then
like
you're-
tailored toward whoever is going in there. And it
yeah,
wasn't
you're like
this
you're
time.
confronting hell or demons or like your own fears or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was
But
the
I
end of the
did
movie.
like- yeah.
Go
I
ahead,
did
yeah.
like how he kills him in the fact that he, poses as himself as the wax mannequin and Scaramanga to let his guard down because he doesn't think that that's actually Bond, and then he just bam. And I
He
thought that
golden
was
guns his
pretty.
ass.
That's inventive, kind of. That's good.
And did Bond
Okay.
Bond didn't shoot a bullet right after that, or before that?
Like, does he shoot in the show in the movie? I don't.
no,
believe so.
he shoots throughout the movie, but like, and he shoots at Scaramanga when they're on the beach. But
Yeah.
like one of the things they spoke about during that conversation was like, well, I have 6 shots and you have 1. And then,
Yeah.
Scaramanga's like, 1 is all I need, Mr. Bond. And it's
Yeah.
like, so he just has the 1 bullet, but Bond has his full clip. And I was just wondering if he shot before, like, I mean, he shot once on the beach, but did he shoot again after that? I can't remember.
Again,
Can't
no.
recall.
No, only when he kills him, I believe.
Yeah.
And
then we go into like the meltdown mode of the base, which is like,
yeah,
Which you have to do in every James Bond movie, I think. A base has to have a
Yes.
countdown timer at the very end,
yeah,
where they have to escape. Goodnight pushes that like crony into one of the vats, which
she hits
ends
him
up
in the head
having-
with a pipe. Yeah. And he falls in.
and the heat starts to rise, and they show a very stationary shot of like the rules for the room. It's like, if this room goes above 0 degrees,
Yeah. And James
You'll
Bond is like,
explode.
don't you know how to read a sign? And she's like, what do you
No.
mean? It's like, if his body temperature is going to raise this well above 0 and this entire facility is going to explode. And she's like, I didn't know that. And he's like, well, fuck.
yeah.
yeah.
But also, would it? Like, he says that like it's like 400 degrees Kelvin or something. Like, I don't think a body falling in there would raise it above 0. But, that's just...
Well, the thing in the
starts
body
to,
in the water is turned to ice. They go up the ladder. They go to that room where they originally
Yeah.
had the conversation about the Solex. Bond has to climb into a thing to get the Solex back. He can't figure out how to get it open. There's that weird thing where she like pushes the button with her butt, which I laughed out loud at. The sun, I'm just gonna say the sun goes behind a cloud, so they have like a moment of reprieve. And he finally gets it open and gets the Solex out.
Yeah.
But it's like down to the wire. Sorry,
I think
Steve,
that
what were you gonna say?
no, I was just gonna say like this whole moment is just like kind of whatever. Like, it's not. There's nothing in this that is tense or interesting to me. This is just like,
Because there's no
well, they have-
clock. It's just
it's not even that there's no clock. It's just that like we already understand how this device works based on the exposition leading up to it. But the exposition leading up to it, all it did was make me understand Scaramanga more. Like, I didn't actually care about the device and all of its devastating power.
That's true.
And now that he's dead, I've lost interest in the device and its devastating power. Because to me, the movie is about the man with the golden gun. It's not about the man's golden gun. Like, I don't really give a shit about his golden gun. So, her escaping the guy and dropping him into the
truck was second.
Yeah, like her dropping the guy into the liquid helium is cool. It would have been cool if we had like a Terminator 2 moment where the guy's like, ah, and like shatters or whatever. Like, whatever, that's cool. But I don't need to see the base deteriorating because there's no one else left on the island trying to stop them. So all they're trying to do is stop the device from blowing up to save just them. There's nothing beyond.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
So
that's
to me,
true. That is true.
After Christopher Lee dies, I'm kind of like, the movie's done. Like, I don't need this. Like, I'm not. I know they're gonna get out
at one point. I was like, this is a little bit of a anti-climactic. Like, I get it's climactic, but it does feel anticlimactic. It'd almost been better if he's wounded and lurking in the lair. He's just not dead. And
or like they're escaping on his golden plane, and Scaramanga is like aiming the laser that he showed at the plane, while the sabotage that they've done behind them is like the base blows up and the whole base blows up with Scaramanga inside of it as they're
But they do still do the like horror movie or action movie ending where like the bad guy comes back.
That's true.
That's
true.
Yeah,
it's just that what it is.
But it's on their honeymoon, and he's like,
"Oh my god,
Knick-Knack has machine gun jubblies."
Well, I said to myself, I was like, "Well, did Knick-Knack just die?" Because I kind of felt bad for him for a moment. But then the next time we see him, he's like in the rafters of the boat while Bond and Goodnight are about to have sex.
He was the whole time, it's kind of he was the one kind of pulling the strings even toward his own boss. It's kind of awesome.
But we also, like, this is the evidence that he does love his boss, because he wants to kill Bond still. He doesn't have to kill Bond. He could have just revealed himself and been like, all right, you guys win. Can I come with you on the boat?
Swam somewhere else while the lair.
We could enjoy some champagne. I'm going to inherit all his money now that he's actually
dead.
I thought Nick Nack was going to do a face turn, but he instead attacks Bond at full force. Bond fucking chases him around a room with typical like little person shenanigans, like boring, and then he just captures him in a suitcase, which I also laughed out loud at. I thought that was hilarious, but also like so demeaning.
I didn't laugh at the visuals of it. What I did laugh at was as soon as he closes it, you hear Nick Nack go, "What are you doing?" He goes, "What are you doing?" I can't breathe. What do you think I'm doing? It's also very sad that they put him in like a rope cage and
on the
like,
fucking
at the end,
yeah,
tied to the rope cage.
Yeah,
and then he's banging "Good Night" while is it Q? I don't remember. Is it M or Q who's kind of listening on the phone for a second?
Oh god.
Well, yeah, he has M on the phone. He calls him and then he puts the phone down for a second and. It gets hard, and then he's like, "Oh, I better hang this up."
And then we get, and then we're out, and then we're done.
We're out. My last note was Nick Nack lives. They fight, and he captures him in a suitcase. Ha 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 ha.
In the next movie, his doppelganger shows up.
Yeah,
Nick.
Paddywhack.
No.
Oh, Paddywhack. Oh, yeah.
He's Irish. Yeah, he's an Irish version.
Yeah. That's amazing.
They played.
So what do you think?
Yeah, well, I love this movie.
I mean, that's the end of the movie. Should we go on to our final thoughts and the Home Alone of it all?
We should.
If you had to pick one, what do you think the Home Alone of it all?
the Home Alone of it all?
Can someone please tell me when the Home Alone?
I really gotta know.
When is the Home Alone of it all?
What is the Home Alone of it all?
Now that's the Home Alone of it all.
The music.
All right. Here's the plan, EY West. In the movie Home Alone, okay, Kevin McAllister gets to that point where he's got to slap down the blueprint. He's got to figure out it's life or death now, and he's going to destroy these fucking wet bandits. What we've determined is every movie has kind of that moment where the movie kind of slaps down the blueprint and shows us, maybe it's our favorite part of the movie. Maybe it's an emotional reaction part of the movie. Maybe it's just the third act, but that is the Home Alone of it all. In addition to that, we would like to hear your final thoughts on the film and a rating. The rating isn't part of any scale, whatever the scale is for you, but the floor is yours to tell us about your Home Alone of it all, your final thought and your rating.
Wow, that's a tough one. I mean, the tough part is the Home Alone of it all. I need you to again quickly describe
the Home Alone of it all is kind of your favorite part,
determining
or the segment of the movie that kind of is what you're there to see.
Yes, like you said, where he's slapping down the blueprint, like, okay, we've got a call to action kind of thing. Yeah. It's a good question. I'm going to come back as I go through my thoughts. I might realize what that is.
That's totally fine.
Yeah, my overall thought was that, I was entertained throughout, and to me that's always an immediate benchmark of like, yes, I did. I was laughing. I was like invested. I had a good villain. He was like Stephen has pointed out many times. He was like, I enjoyed his approach to tackling Bond, and that he was superior as an actual like high value target. And for him to prove his worth as a hitman, this is the person I need to take out in a fair and square cat and mouse duel. He loses, but that's the way he chose to go out, and that's the mark of a good gimmick and gun. He's got his golden bullets. He never misses. He's a sure shot. He's probably more accurate than Bond is. So to me, a good villain makes a good story, and this had that. Some things that knock it from its pedestal. I like the kookiness and the zaniness. Goofiness is something I can only take in a little bit of small doses, especially in a spy movie. It may have had one or two too many goofy parts, whistle being one of them. I was like, man, if that was just not there, I may not even be saying the word goofy, but it does exist, and I can't ignore that. So that kind of thing is just post production guffaws. Thought of that was, and like you said, they already rue the day that they did that. Just too bad it made it. But yeah, I don't know. It was paced well, except for the ending, like we've mentioned, the anticlimactic destruction. But destruction of the lair is a hallmark of a James Bond film, and this checks off a lot of the things I want in a Bond film. It has the sex, it has the action, it has the one-liners, it has the sophisticated, little short on the gadgetry, but you know, it has the exotic world appeal, it has the humor, it has the Britishness. So yeah, I was thoroughly entertained. I'm gonna go and give this probably I want to 6.8, which I think is that is actually high in my
Out of 7?
rating. Out of 7. But you know, it may sound low, but that's when I see that kind of, that's something I want to watch. That just means I'm going to be entertained. It's not a masterpiece. It's not. I may not recommend it to a lot of people. I'm not be like, you have to see The Man with the Golden Gun, but I'll always watch that movie, and I'll be happy when it's on. The Home Alone. It's a different question that I'm a little stumped on. I'm trying to think of what really sealed the deal for me. I'm not really sure. Like I almost want to think of one of the action set pieces, but those are trivial in the scheme of things that kind of keep people with low attention entertained. To me, that's not the crux of the movie. Like I like the espionage factor and how the plot kind of leads from A to B to C to D. So I don't know. I might have to come after I kind of hear what the host's thoughts are. But that's
I can
those are my final thoughts on my rating.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Ramble, but I mean, yeah.
I have a very clear cut Home Alone of it all for me.
Yeah.
The moment that I realized that I like this movie more than most James Bond movies is that they subverted the Q scene, the gadgetry that we're used to, the thing that we are like. A lot of the time people, when they think of their favorite James Bond movie, the Q scene is usually their favorite scene within that movie.
Yes.
And then beyond it, it's something else. And the Q scene in this movie doesn't exist, but it does exist in a different way, which is the Lazar scene or whatever his name is, when he is explaining all of this weaponry, these weapons of death that he designs for assassins and people of dispute, like the people that James Bond typically has to fight. This is their Q. They have, we're looking at the evil Q basically.
Yeah.
And I like that so much that I was like, this is so cool. And I know this is still sort of like, it's the 9th James Bond movie, but you know, we've had Q up to this point, but this is like the movie in itself being like, you're not getting a Q scene, but you're going to get a Lazarus scene or a Lazar scene or whatever his name is. And it's just as cool.
Yeah. And Lazar
because
goes
it's not
on his way to these people and stuff too. Like I'm not really inherently evil. I'm just doing work that's commissioned to me.
I'm doing what I'm good at. And this is what I'm good at, Mr. Bond.
Yeah.
Here, use
the bullets
this rifle.
Don't kill the people, you know.
Exactly. He's one of those guys. He's getting paid an exorbitant amount of money to make golden bullets for a man who charges $1 million per hit. Like, it's very cool, but it's also like, it's like Q saying, "Look at all this stuff that I've made, Mr. Bond, that you'll never be able to use. How about that?"
Yeah.
And like, I like that a lot, and that's when I got really on board with the movie, and then seeing that like he is essentially the Q for Scaramanga. Like he is Scaramanga's Q. Like we're like, oh, we're seeing this sort of like whole dark world. It's not just a flip of James Bond. We're also seeing the evil Q. We're seeing the evil everything. Right, this whole organization is the evil. It's not Spectre. It's something beyond that, right? And so that's when I got. That's when I got on
freelance Spectre.
Yeah, that was my my Home Alone of it all. I think that's my most favorite scene, but
yeah,
my most favorite performance, my most favorite moment, maybe not. Like I like when he first arrives at the island and Scaramanga is like so excited to show James Bond his shit, to be like, look at my collection. I have so much cool shit. You want to see it? Come in. I don't get guests very often. It's just me and Nick Nack and my dead wife who I killed in front of you. Remember that? And so let's go. And like he's just there. He's like an excited kid to show James Bond everything. But like overall, I think it's far more interesting from the perspective of the bad guy. I think that the extended chase sequence is too long. I think that there's lots of things that are not really enjoyable about it. I think the tone is all over the place here and there. But I think that this might be one of my most favorite James Bond movies. Like in general,
that's good to hear.
I like it a lot. Christopher Lee, as we all know, is like an amazing actor, but he was also cousins with Ian Fleming, who wrote all the James Bond novels and in some way based James Bond off of stories that Christopher Lee told him when they were both out of the army. And it's like Christopher Lee being a villain in this movie is so sort of romanticized in my mind that it's like perfect. Like it's so good.
Yeah.
And as goofy as this movie is, like I don't really care. Like I think it's sort of like quintessentially what you want from a James Bond movie. Yeah. It's exactly what you want from a James Bond movie. And I don't think that I can really say anything bad about it that I haven't already said during this discussion. And in my like sort of like final thoughts of it, I think it's good. And I think it's maybe one of my favorites. And I like a lot of James Bond movies, but I also dislike a bunch of James Bond movies as well. I don't think they're all great, but I think that this is one of the great ones.
What would you give it?
If I had to give it a rating, I would give it a cigarette case, a cigarette lighter, and a pen that no one will ever know what I'm going to do with.
I'm going to guess. It turns into a gun.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah. I turned it into like a chopstick set. And
it's like, you're wrong.
It's also got other things you can do with it. Not just
I can't believe you just said that. You'll know why in a moment. My Home Alone of it all is the island sequence. It's I love an end moment where the hero goes to the fight, like the final boss lair, fucking has to fight through a dungeon, beat the final boss, and then escape. I love that shit. That's my Home Alone of it all. I know it's simple.
Pretty classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for my final thought, it's kind of like I like that this movie is an evolved version, a 7 times evolved version of the prototype that we saw last week in From Russia with Love. I love the fact that this feels like a dialed up version of that. Everything seems better at this point. China is such a cool backdrop, and Thailand.
Yeah, it is.
The theme for this movie, like the musical theme, is excellent. The score is so fucking good. I love that they kept the dun 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 from the previous movie. Yep, exactly. A great Bond, a great villain. Steve kind of already covered all that stuff. I give this a 4.2 out of 5 because I kind of have to. I kind of shot myself in the foot because I gave From Russia with Love a 4 out of 5. My scale's all fucked for
spoiler. GoldenEye is gonna be a fucking 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. It probably will be a 4.8 out of 5. Spoilers. I give this movie, and this is why I said fuck you, Steve. I give this movie each individual part of the Golden Gun, and they go together properly. But that is our show for this week. I'd like to thank EY West, Chris Westmas himself, for coming back on the show. You were a great guest. You're always a great guest. I'd love to have you join the 5 Times Club. So in 2026, probably going to invite you back no less than 3 more times. There is, of course, some housekeeping.
We do the big Book of Bond twice a year. So if you want to come back for another Bond, you're more than welcome. You seem to like Bond a lot.
Give me another Roger Moore Bond, please.
There's 2 more. I'm glad to have him back. I don't think anybody likes Roger Moore as much as you, as far as I'm concerned.
Fucking love the Roger.
But I think before we take it home, we gotta talk about our plugs.
Oh my God, I forgot about the plugs.
All right, let me just plug this in right here and...
Oh, hold on a second.
Did you forget to put your picture up? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was doing something. This is it's not gonna make any sense if you're watching this. If you're watching this in the future, you're just having me talk.
All right, let me just plug this in right here and...
There you go. He's dead. Chris.
Yes.
What do you have to promote or plug? What do you have going on in your life?
Well, I mean, nothing too crazy. I'll just kind of repeat something I said last time because it's getting closer to in December. A board game that I created and published, will be publishing, called Layers, will be out in December finally, and it'll be going to backers of Kickstarter. But for everyone that didn't get it, they'll be able to find it in retail in early January. So that's kind of exciting. And I'll probably, you can look for it under Layers, Lairs, board game. You can find it online there. This cover band I've started playing with.
What?
Shows around town, so we can check that out. We don't really have a name yet. We've gone under the name Midwife Crisis because we're all old fucks.
That's great.
Thought the pun would be good. Yeah.
What do you play?
I play guitar.
Oh.
So
I play the bass. Want to start a band?
Jason,
you play bass? Yeah, let's fucking do it. And of course, on behalf of Jason and I'll promote some Super Kicked stuff in that we have a show, some pro wrestling, the Great Hall. Is it September 26th? I want to say.
Yes.
This month. So come out. Buy your tickets at superkick.ca. Get them while they're hot, or show up at the door. We'd love to see you. Jason will be there announcing. Their commentators will be there wrestling, and everyone will be right where they should be.
And I will be in the audience yelling, "Featherweight, featherweight! Where's the featherweight ladder? I need it."
My wife Madison also loves the featherweight chant.
Yeah, me and Madison together created the featherweight chant, and no one has ever joined us. It's just me and Madison.
It's great.
Also, Chris, if you're doing a trailer for that board game and you need a voice actor, I can do very good.
Yeah, I've noticed you're great at voices, to be very honest. So I might actually be contacting you for some fun stuff.
Hit me up, buddy.
Yeah. If not even this one, some future ones. I got some games in the works.
All right.
So,
well, thank you so much. Yes.
What do you got cooking on the back burner, buddy?
Well, as you guys know, I'm the voice of Darth Theorist and the Three-Eyed Theorist. I do the narration for those videos every day of the week. I also play all the characters. And if you love that, you're going to love this. Actually, I'm just going to play an ad for Stanland, if that's okay.
Yep.
Okay. This is a little excerpt of the show. I was lucky enough to be selected as one of the things that they animate, and here we go.
Look at this place.
Fancy pants like yourself ever been in a Big Lots?
Big Lots was the only place to shop in the town where I grew up, okay? To paint a picture for the audience, this is more like a market or bazaar. Each table manned by some sort of humanoid with pointy ears.
Elves.
Hello. Might I fascinate you in our peerless collections of potions, tonics, elixirs, the cure for any malady, from the lightest touch of goblin pox to the most severe case of centaur warts.
These are just off-brand shampoos.
These imbibable miracles come in apple pectin, tropical coconut, and grapefruit mango butter with dandruff control. Or sample my delicious elvish bread, most perfect for wraps.
That's Puff's tissue.
Lunchtime is saved.
What's wrong with these elves?
It's just so weird seeing them sell this garbage.
'Tis a dangerous world out there, eh? You and your family need protection. Behold, a formidable blade.
That's a plug-in curling iron.
It metes out deathly blows.
But, okay, what if Earth stuff that's meant for humans acts different here?
Like when I eat catnip at home and nothing happens until I throw up?
Yes, like that.
So that's a small segment. I played the elf. Formidable blade. That was me.
Yeah, it sounded good.
All right. It's exciting. It's cool. You know, they didn't have to pick that segment out of all the segments they have, but I'm glad that they did because it's interesting that they animated a character who dresses kind of like how I dress and looks like me. Weird. But yeah, Stanland is also coming up with a bonus series, which I believe the first episode launched today. I play a main character in that, which is pretty cool. I play an
orc named Ukla, and that's all you need to know about it.
Yeah. And but it's fun. It's very I edited the first episode, and I'm pretty proud of it. I think it's pretty cool. So if you guys like Stanland, you just need to subscribe to the Stanland on Apple, and you'll be able to listen to those as well. But yeah, it's exciting, it's cool, and it's fun. So if you like the theorist stuff, and if you like me, then check it out. Come on, folks,
right?
You can do it.
Yeah, that's the selling point.
Yes, that's me.
This
Oh.
man. This man. This man. This man. This man.
Listen, folks, I'm gonna be big one of these days. I'm telling you.
I hope.
Yeah.
Jason, how about you? What are you plugging?
Oh, there's so many plugs to be plugged. First and foremost, this podcast is called Hey, Did You See This One? You can find it every week where you get your podcasts. It's in video form, it's in audio form. You can get it on Facebook, you can get it on Instagram, you can get it on YouTube, you can get it on Twitch. Twitch is kind of our primary point, but YouTube has been good to us lately. We're doing very good over on YouTube. Listen, I want you to go to youtube.com/Hey, Did You See This One? And install our podcast to your subscriber list. That's what I want you to do. In addition to that, just before I get to the rest of the Hey, Did You See This One quotient, you can find me, as Chris had just mentioned, at Superkick Wrestling here in Toronto. I am the announcer. I am the face of Superkicked. I mean, people don't come for me. They come for the wrestling. I can tell you the only matches announced at this point, I don't have you'll see the match pictures because they're ever changing, but some pretty big matches already have been announced. Dior Nollins versus Alessandro Del Bruno. It's going to be a barn burner.
Yeah.
It's going to be a banger. Chris, you've called both of these wrestlers wrestle. I don't think you've called them wrestle each other, but Dior Nollins is the future of professional wrestling. Alessandro Del Bruno is he's a mainstay of Southern Ontario wrestling. In addition to that, Durag goes one-on-one again versus Psycho Mike. That's going to be fucked. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a good match. It's going to change. I like
Psycho Mike a lot.
Psycho Mike rules, and also
he makes me horny. I'm just kidding.
I didn't say nothing.
Speaking of which, Superkick this month is called Back at It Again, which Steve, of course, is now back at it again with his horniness.
Just like James.
Also, Steve had mentioned that there's a spinoff for the Stanland podcast. I'm a part of episode 3 for the Lost Podcast of Zinja. You can find me in that. I'm finally doing some voice acting. Probably gonna see what that road's all about. But yep. Before we get to all of that, you can find our merch shops at TeePublic and Redbubble, and we have such shirts as the Grimoire of Familiar Killers. It's our flagship month that basically when we do it next month in October, all of these people are going to change, but I'm sure that Steven will mock up a new one just for that.
I'm going to try and draw more stuff.
It's fine if you don't. But speaking of which, we have Kill-Aid. Kill-Aid is a bestseller. We have Twinkerbell, a bestseller. Twinkerbell fucking brings in the
dreams.
Look at this.
Last night he told me, like, don't worry, that all that blood, it was just in your imagination.
Just your imagination. We also have Zardoz, Who, Why, How, Why, Who, What Occurs. Also, we have, based on this exact month, Carpal Tunnel Syndrome, who is a Bond villain that Steven came up with.
Yeah, we need to come up with a new one because, like, I need to draw a new one. I mean, I guess I do like. What was yours called? Medusa. That's kind of an interesting.
Yeah, I like the Medusa
concept.
I want to see Booby Trap.
I almost feel like Corporal Tunnel Syndrome could be a henchman for Medusa.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
And if you had forgotten about it, well, you're going to be reminded. The Howie Mandel Effect is a T-shirt you can buy, and our newest shirt, the Eldritch Millennial, who you can all relate to.
Yes.
Look at him. He's got a Scarbeast. But that's the end of the show for this week.
Thanks for having me, man. That was awesome.
I love talking to you, Chris. I love talking to Chris all the time. But okay, let's see if we can do this because it is quite important.
Well, before we go, I'm going to say that I am going to be playing Helldivers tonight. So if anybody wants to add me on Xbox or Steam, you can find me, and I'm going to be diving.
I'm gonna come play Helldivers with you, I think. But there's one question, and I'm gonna leave it to EY West, that needs to be asked each and every week, and I think you are the man to ask that question. It's the name of the show.
How many fingers do you have? How many nipples do you have?
Not quite. It's the question that we ask on this show each and every week.
Oh, no, I knew what it was the whole time. I'm just... Hey, this one.
Well, give it one more try, please.
I think that's good enough.
That's good. Hey, did you see this one yet?
You almost had it, but also Steve's right. Like we should have just took it, but I think that is
this one.
Hey, this one. I think that was good.
I wrote down for some reason, the robots are coming. The robots are coming. The robots are coming.
Why did you write that down?
I don't know. But the robots are coming.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And take a peek into the darkness with Heard Noise, Must Investigate with Michael Chan. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mario Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.